evening and a happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a 3 hour long special Sports Gladiators dissecting Super Bowl 57. I am Mr. Knast. Joining us in his Arizona Sun Guards is Mr. Ron. He is, as you can tell, ready for the game. He's dressed the part. Good evening, Curtis. Thank you for popping in tonight. This is a very big show. I've been looking forward to this. I have put a lot of time and effort into this show. So if you're just tuning in, welcome. This is, like I said, our Super Bowl, you might as well say, right, Ron?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good evening, Matt. Thanks for popping in tonight.
Hey, Curtis. Hey, Matt.
So, I mean, this show is all about Super Bowl 57. So if you have any comments, leave them in the chat. We will read them as best as we can. I have a 17 slide in-depth slideshow prepared for this show. So yeah, I mean, if you're just tuning in for the first time, a small town streamer, we're just out here having fun. So feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know that you're here. And yeah, just welcome in and let's have some fun.
Absolutely.
Ron, like to add to that, Ron?
Absolutely. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and hopefully we see some new faces tonight. I'm sure we will. We got some great guests tonight, and they're going to help us out breaking down this game, pretty much every aspect. And John has put a lot of time and effort into this. So I want to thank him for putting together this big extravaganza we're going to have tonight. So
yes.
Without further ado, I guess we should get rock and rolling.
Since we have a lot to cover, I mean, as you can see, my lovely slideshow, I broke down literally every position group that you can possibly think of. There's even a special slide at the end that I have someone breaking down for a good laugh. So stay tuned for that. If you have anything that you would like to add to this, feel free. We love interaction in the chat. We love people giving their takes. Just do it in a respectful manner. That's all I ask. I mean, not everyone likes the Eagles. Not everybody likes the Chiefs. I get that. But as you can tell, I'm an Eagles fan. Ron is too. We just want people to have fun. So
absolutely.
You can have fun. You can jab with people in the chat. Go back and forth. Just be respectful about it. I mean, this is supposed to be a family-oriented show. Sometimes it does get out of hand. I will admit that. But tonight I'm trying to keep it all business as long as I can. So, without that,
that's a good way to put it, by the way. I'll keep it all business for as long as I can.
Yes. No one is perfect. I got to say that.
No. We may lose the PG every now and then, but we mean well.
Yes, we actually do. You got Mr. Russo in the chat. Good evening, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Nice to see you. All right, well, our first slide of the night belongs to no other than the head coaches. I mean, if you ask me, not much of a comparison, really. Nick Sirianni is only a second-year coach with Philly, 23-11 in his regular season, 2-1 postseason record, his first time ever making the Super Bowl. Then on the other side of the thing, you have what, in my mind, is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, and Andy Reid.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Absolutely, I agree. I would just wanted to agree with that assessment. I think that there's no doubt that he'll go down when it's all said and done as one of the greats, no matter what.
I mean, some of his years here in Philly were rocky, to say the least. A couple of them were the rebuilding years, and then you also always had him not being able to get over the hump, per se, when he reached all those NFC Conference Championship games with us. But building the anticipation to the big night, we got Joe Markey, hello, Jason Tessing.
Hey, Dave. Yep, Joe, Jason.
Building the anticipation for the big night is correct. Dave, I read that comment wrong. I apologize. But yes, this show is a mega one just to talk Super Bowl, get everybody hyped. So, but Andy Reid, I was shocked when I read this, that it's been 9 years already he took over Kansas City.
Wow.
I was like, wow, it's been that long already. And then prior to that, he was 13 years in Philly.
Right.
Like, I knew right away once we fired him that some team was going to pick him up, and now he's just had as long as a tenure in Kansas City as he did in Philly, almost.
Yeah. He really was kind of the victim of a power struggle, kind of. Remember, the composition of the Eagles front office has been pretty much Howie and Jeff, but Howie and Jeff have modified the way they go to business in the last few years. After it came to light how much they were actually trying to be involved. And Andy had a lot of say in personnel. I mean, and it got to a point where they started butting heads on stuff, and, it's just the way it was eventually going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I should have broke it down record per team, but I know in Philadelphia, I think he only had, three, maybe four losing seasons in 13 years.
Yeah, and some of them were, basically in the rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, the first year obviously was because he had a rookie, Donovan McNabb, who he drafted second overall to Tim Couch. Mm-hmm. So they actually started that season with Doug Peterson as their opening day quarterback. McNabb took over soon after that, and then by year two, McNabb was the full-time starter.
McNabb was coming in on some here and there in that first season. He had a few snaps, but nothing of significance.
No, and I think they wind up finishing, if I'm not mistaken, 4-12 that year.
Not positive, but that sounds about right. I know that it was somewhere around that.
And then after that, you figure 2000, 2001, 2002. No, wait. No, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, he led in the 4 straight NFC Championship games. Only won one. Mm-hmm. Could never get over the hump and say, now had debated before if that was the coaching's fault or a quarterback problem with Donovan McNabb not being able to handle the pressure of the big game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Donovan never showed at any point, no matter what team he was on, that he could take a team to the promised land. So, I mean, he was extremely talented. I mean, he had his moments, but in the same respect, a lot of quarterbacks are judged on the final result, and the final result was he hit the ceiling in the championship games and never quite got over the hump except for that one.
Yeah, I mean, the 1 year, like Tampa Bay, like I think it was 2002 or 2003. Everybody thought for sure that Philly was going to the Super Bowl that year because Tampa Bay could not win in cold weather. Well, what happened? They beat us 27-10 in the last game at Veterans Stadium.
Yeah. All the talk was Tampa Bay can't win when it's under 32 degrees, and then they just walked in here and just took us out.
Yep. Matt, I see your question. My favorite wing flavor, I would have to say, is garlic parmesan. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. Well, mine's just very basic. I'm a very fussy eater, so sadly, it's just the mild on the side. Dry with mild on the side.
Gotcha. And Jason, who is Ron's son's in chat, saying, and Reed one with no receiver talent at all, and that most impressive except for T.O. in 2004. That is a awesome comment to make because he is exactly right. I mean,
exactly.
Besides for 2004, our number one wide receivers were either like James Thrash, Todd Pinkston, or Todd Pinkston and Freddie Mitchell. Like, you don't have that solidified number one receiver. And to put winning record after winning record after winning record together was quite impressive.
And only one of them went to prison.
Huh?
Just Freddie.
Yeah, I was going to say, it should have been just Freddie Mitchell, and he was, tax invasion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Sadly enough, my older sister knew Freddie Mitchell, and I don't know if she was talking to him or what, but it's just, my dad said, I don't want him in my house. So my dad banned Freddie Mitchell from our house. What's up, Dom? The Master IEZ on Twitch, that's my buddy Dom. I work with him.
Okay.
And he's saying this is the second time I'll cheer the Eagles on.
Okay, was the other time the other Super Bowl?
I would probably imagine so. I mean,
yeah, that would make sense, and that's that's a good bit of honesty there. You know.
Yep. All I'm gonna say to Dom personally is thank you for your hospitality. Dom is an Arizona Cardinals fan, and that's where the Super Bowl is this year.
Yep.
So thanks to the Arizona Cardinals for the hospitality. Dom, that's a shout out to you. Take it how you want, but should we bring our first guest in?
Sure. Yeah, it's about that time. Let's get it rolling.
All right, our first guest of the night, breaking down the quarterback position, is no other than Mr. Sam Simmons. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening, Mr. Knast. Ron, nice to meet you.
Welcome to the triathlon of Sports Gladiators that we were breaking down Super Bowl 57, and quarterbacks are yours.
Oh yeah, and this is going to be a fun one. I mean, we have two just absolutely dominant quarterbacks in this game. Both of them have come into this league just shining like bright North Stars for their respective teams. I mean, Patrick Mahomes coming in 2017, 2018, and leading the Chiefs to 5 straight AFC championship games. This is their 3rd Super Bowl in 5 years, so that's just amazing. Jalen Hurts, just everything he's overcome over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
This is his 2nd year in the league, right?
Second year, yep.
I mean, he went from 4 years ago being benched in the national championship game at Alabama, moving to Oklahoma, having a terrific season there, being beat out in the playoffs, and then stepping into Philadelphia and just having 2 dominant seasons. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Like he had a good season last season too, because the Eagles made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
Correct.
Absolutely.
And then lost to, like you guys were saying, lost to Tampa, I believe.
Yeah, they lost to Tampa Bay last year in the wild card round.
So, I mean, it's he's done some amazing things, and just for as young as he is, and as young as these both quarterbacks are, to have the accomplishments that some of these guys have, that they have. I mean, these are accomplishments that a lot of the quarterbacks in the league go their entire career without seeing. I mean, you look at Matt Stafford; he went 14 years without seeing a Super Bowl until last year. So, but this is definitely going to be interesting. Both quarterbacks this season. I mean, 2 amazing. You know, as you know, we have the stats right here. You know, 66.5% completion rating for Jalen Hurts, and a 67.1% completion rating. Just amazing. Patrick Mahomes with another 5,000-yard passing season. You know, and who knows where Jalen Hurts would have been, how many more yards he'd have there. Definitely a couple hundred more if he hadn't missed those 2 games. But then, you know, Jalen Hurts with 22 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, absolutely terrific. I don't think that would have changed much. I don't think he would have thrown any interceptions in those 2 games that he would have missed. Maybe 1. But you'd add on 4 or 5 more touchdowns to that. I mean, so 5-to-1 ratio there, still good. Yeah. You know, Mahomes with the 41-12. The outstanding numbers. You know, and then you look at the quarterback rating. 2 amazing quarterback ratings. A 101.6 for Jalen and a 105.2 for Patrick Mahomes. I think where Jalen definitely does have the upper hand is those rushing yards. Jalen is a lot better getting out of the pocket and rushing. Mahomes has the capability when he needs to, but Mahomes also has a terrific ability to throw on the run. And we've seen that multiple times where he escapes the pocket and just throws this across the body 15-yard pass, to the opposite side of the field, and it's just like, how does he do that? No feet planting, just on the run. So Patrick Mahomes, the Eagles are going to have to watch out for that.
Now, I have a question for you, okay?
No,
Both quarterbacks are not, I wouldn't say 100%, but not 50%. They're probably around like 80, 90%. Jalen Hurts has a shoulder injury, and Patrick Mahomes has the high ankle sprain. Which of these two do you think would, I don't know, suffer more pain-wise when it comes to game time than the other?
Which is it? His throwing shoulder for Jalen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I definitely think it's going to hurt Patrick a little more in his playing ability, if he's still feeling that pain, because he's going to have less momentum. He's going to have less mobility. So if he's feeling that pain, and we saw it, the last game, he was hurting, and so if he's still hurting that game, I think he'll push through it. I have no doubt. Patrick Mahomes has shown time and time again, he's willing to play through those smaller injuries. Jalen will still have the mobility on his feet, though. So if it comes to it and he's not able to get those super long passes downfield, they can resort to the short throw game. They can resort to sort of his run game and his running ability. So I definitely think the disadvantage on the injury side is going to come to Patrick. Because that high ankle sprain, if you've ever had any kind of ankle injury, it's hard to walk, let alone run. Especially, I believe it's on his right foot, so it's on that back foot where you're pushing off of it. So if he's still feeling that pain, I definitely feel like the disadvantage may go to Patrick.
Okay, but I know who you're clearly thinking is the better quarterback in this situation, just based off what you're wearing. Is that a safe assessment that you're more Patrick Mahomes than you would be Jalen Hurts?
Well, I kind of feel like I have to be. I mean, he's a local home Texan boy. I mean, he went to school 2 hours north of where I'm living right now in Texas Tech. So, I mean, I watched him play in Texas at Texas Tech, and I mean, he's a fun quarterback to watch. But I also feel just that Texas loyalty. He's a Texas homeboy, and you gotta support the Texas homeboy. So I feel a little loyalty to him just in the sense of Texas. But I think that Jalen Hurts, he definitely has the capability. Patrick has the advantage of experience. Hi, Curtis. And actually, Lou, I don't really know who to root for in this game, because I love Patrick Mahomes, but I also kind of have, and some Cowboys fan will call me a traitor and a heretic for this. But to have the Super Bowl come back to the NFC East would be nice too. I won't lie. And so, as a Cowboy fan, people are going to call me a heretic, but I wouldn't mind, as long as Philly doesn't repeat 2017, 16, 17? 17 Super Bowl where they burned down Philly.
That's going to happen regardless. Me and Vaughn both know that from being in this area.
Yeah.
I mean,
Von's going to be part of it, so.
I'm sure I will be. I have no doubt that I will be at the parade, should a parade take place.
I mean, you guys need to go San Antonio style. When the San Antonio Spurs win, they drive down Main Street just honking their horns and partying. We don't burn anything down, though. I don't mind the partying.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's okay. Tom Brady throws the trophy off a boat, so yeah.
Not as bad
Did he get fined for that? Didn't he get fined for that?
If he did, it was very quietly.
Well, then, if you're saying that celebration, you might as well bring it what Gronkowski did to it and spiked it.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
God knows what Gronkowski did to it when he had it.
Don't want to know.
But I do think that like I said, Patrick Mahomes has experience on his side. He's been in the league. He's been in the league now, going on his sixth season. This is his third Super Bowl appearance. In those 6 years, which is just ridiculous, if you think about it. Whereas Jalen Hurts, this is his first Super Bowl. I mean, he's been on the big stage before in the sense of Alabama and the national championship, but let's face it, the national championship is child's play compared to the Super Bowl.
True.
That's fair enough. That's
and
fair
so,
enough.
And the thing is, if you look at what happened to him in the national championship game, and this is where I worry about Jalen Hurts a little bit. If you look at what happened to him in some of those bigger games when he was at Oklahoma and when he was at Alabama, he choked a little bit. I mean, it got to the point where they pulled him out and put in Tua at Alabama, and he lost his starting position. And now you look at it here. You look at both Jalen and Tua now. Jalen is by far the much better quarterback. But so the question is he going to be able to handle the pressure of being in the Super Bowl, and going head to head against a quarterback who has 3 Super Bowls under his belt already, or 2 Super Bowls under his belt already.
The one thing I'll say is it consistently throughout the season, even through the playoffs, what you're hearing from a lot of the national people is that this guy is just a freak of nature as far as being a calm, cool, and collected guy. He doesn't seem to have let it affect him all that much. He always has the right thing to say. He's shown a very high level of maturity. So I think that while I absolutely agree that the actual game experience that Mahomes has is important, I think that if there's any quarterback who's been in the game at this level, at this early in their career, I think that he's handled it probably better than most.
Oh yeah, and I would agree. And he may come out and just I would have no doubt. I wouldn't put it past Jalen Hurts to say, you know what, I'm going to prove all the naysayers wrong, and I'm going to prove to them that I'm supposed to be here and have a 400 yard 5 touchdown game. I would not put it past him. And I think that is quite possible. But I also think that that the opposite is true as well. But or you could find him somewhere in between. He could have a 300 yard passing game with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. We really don't know, and I think he may come to surprise us with that just epic game and break some records while he's at it, or he may flop on the other end. We'll just have to wait and see. I think, like I said, I think the advantage experience-wise goes to Mahomes. This is his third Super Bowl. He's already proven that he can win it once. Yeah. He's already got 1 ring on the finger, and he wants to put another one there. I think both of these guys, no matter what happens in this game, we're gonna see them. We're gonna see them at this point again in their career.
Yeah,
both of them.
Within the next 5 years, would you say, or later down the road?
Well, I think it depends on what they have in store for their career. I mean, we both know, like, Mahomes has no intention of leaving Kansas City right now. I mean, he just signed that big, huge contract a couple of years ago for 10 years. Massive contract. Jalen Hurts, I'm not too familiar with his contract. I'm not sure how long it lasts.
Well, he's going to be signing an extension at the end of after the Super Bowl. They've so he's coming off his rookie deal. Actually, he's not even done with his rookie deal, and they're gonna sign him to the extension probably sometime directly after the Super Bowl and before training camp next year.
Yeah. So I don't think, especially with where the Eagles are right now. You keep Jalen Hurts. he's too good not to try to hold on to.
Hmm.
I mean, there's those quarterbacks who you go, you know what? We got to get rid of him. He's just, he's not working with our game plan. He's not working with our scheme or whatever, whether it's on-field stuff, off-field stuff. But Jalen Hurts, even on or off-field, seems to be a great guy, a great player. And as of right now, the Eagles have no reason to not extend his contract. And so if both teams stay where they are today, going into the next 2-3 seasons, as long as there's no big name trades or anything like that, I would say, we could see these two teams at the Super Bowl against each other again within the next 5 years. Wouldn't doubt it.
Nope. I wouldn't doubt it either.
I mean, of course, there's always those upsets that just you don't expect to happen, but happen. Like Jacksonville beating Los Angeles this year. Especially when they were up 27-0. Nobody expected Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars to come out with the W that one. But this is going to be a good game with these quarterbacks. Both of them super accurate. I mean, only 18 interceptions between the two and 63 touchdowns. I mean, we're talking a 63-18 touchdown to interception ratio between the two quarterbacks combined. That's just unheard of.
Now, is it safe to assume that one of these two win MVP of the game?
I would say yes. I think that this is going to be one of these two. Provided that we don't see, one of the running backs or one of the wide receivers just absolutely dominate the game in one way or another. I feel it's safe to say that one of these two guys right here are going to be hosting that MVP trophy by the end of Sunday night.
And what do you think about that, Ron? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, not to mention the fact that quarterback usually gets, a lot of attention when it comes to the MVP talk in the Super Bowl. But, I mean, it really depends on how the game plays out. I mean, anything can happen, but if you were a betting man, I would bet on one of these two guys being the guy.
Yeah, like I wouldn't hesitate to put a small bet on one of these two winning MVP. So.
But Garner Minshew's 250-1 to win MVP. Just to let you know.
So if I bet $1 now.
Yep, you got it. You never know.
So
if I bet $1 now, I get what, $250?
$250.
So Minshew's 250-1. What's Chad Henne going off of 200-1?
Oh, I have no idea.
I would agree, Curtis. I think the only thing holding Mahomes back is his ankle, and I would say the same about Jalen. The only thing holding him back is going to be his shoulder. Otherwise, we are getting ready to see two epic quarterbacks go and battle it head-to-head on this field. And I, for one, am excited for this game. I will say this is one of probably the most exciting Super Bowl for me in the last 5-10 years, personally.
And one with one of the shortest odds as well. So they're very, on paper, very evenly matched. So it's only a point. It's only 1.5 right now.
Like, I think when I checked, last time I checked ESPN, their analysis had it at 50-50. Evenly split. So Curtis says let's all meet in Vegas and watch the game.
Hey, there
you paying for my ticket, Curtis?
Curtis? That's all I gotta say.
We could drive to Atlantic City, so we could take care of business here, I could be in Atlantic City in less than an hour.
It'd take me a plane ride to get there. I'm a little further away.
I think you're probably closer to Vegas driving than you would be Atlantic City.
Me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, we're going to wait till the end, but I'm going to ask everyone who jumps in and helps us your score prediction and who you think is winning before we let you go.
Ooh, score prediction. I think we're looking at a high score game. So I'm going to say, and it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say 42-35. And I have to give the edge to Kansas City just because of the experience Kansas City has right now and the players on the team have at playing at this level.
You're just saying that because you're wearing the Chiefs jersey. That's how he told me 20 minutes ago when I scripted this.
Yeah.
But I won't lie. I will be happy with whatever the outcome is. Because like I said earlier, if Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs win it, my Texas homeboy gets the trophy again. But if Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win it, it's a Big 12 player it's a Big 12 player that won the trophy, and it's coming back to the NFC East.
Fair enough.
And it's
Nice.
crazy to think the Big 12 quarterbacks. These are two Big 12 quarterbacks.
Yeah, gotta love it. Well,
So,
Sam, thanks for your time.
repping the Big 12.
You.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you,
Have
Sam.
a good night, guys.
Have a good night. We'll move him. And the next on the list is going to be our running back position. It was supposed to be my friend Prince, but filling in for Prince is none other than Mr. Jason Tessing. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I gave you the running back position. So if you want to feed off the slide, if you want to add your intake to the thing, feel free.
Alrighty. So running backs. In this game, I feel one side is going to be very much dependent on their running backs, and that is the Eagles. I think it's one of the keys to the game that they have a running game going to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. When you break down everything as far as Eagles running backs, Miles Sanders, he's been great this year. He's kind of let off a little bit at the end of the year, which is concerning. But I feel like if the O-line is in a rhythm and they're going forward instead of pulling back, I think they could have some success against the Chiefs' defensive line. And another surprise is Kenneth Gainwell. He's been great in the playoffs. He just seems like he's hitting holes faster, and his ability to break tackles has been really, really, really key for the Eagles. On the Chiefs side, Pacheco, he's another one. He could break tackles. He could break for a big one. He actually was on my fantasy team this year, surprisingly enough. And
Rutgers kids.
yeah, he has the ability to catch out of the backfield. And interestingly enough, today, I think it was today or yesterday, the Chiefs put McCole Hardman on the IR and brought Edwards-Helaire back to the lineup. So he is another threat to catch passes out of the backfield for those screens that the Chiefs love to do.
So with Edwards-Helaire coming back, do you think that hinders Pacheco's productivity for this game, or do they run a two-headed monster?
I think Edwards-Helaire will just be here and there. I think they're pretty sold on Pacheco. I'm pretty sure they lost confidence in Helaire, and that's why he was on IR so long. I'm sure he's just going to be a relief back. Pacheco is probably going to be the horse for the Chiefs.
Because the thing between the two of them, Pacheco is more your power back, where Edwards-Helaire can give you catches out of the backfield, I feel.
Yeah, that's basically the difference. And I think Pacheco has a little bit more ability to get to the outside, and Helaire lost that after his first year, I think. He hasn't shown that he can go to the outside. So I think Pacheco is going to be the main one you see in this game. And
don't
I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
good, good.
Don't be surprised if they don't use Hilaire actually in the slot because of the other injuries that they have at wide receiver. I think that there's a possibility that the main reason they're activating them is to get another set of hands in there.
That's good possibility.
Very, very good possibility. And another thing interesting about this, it leads up to something else I was going to talk about, is the offensive lines. Like the interior offensive lines for these two teams are like 1A and 1B. Like their interior offensive lines are great, both teams. So these running backs could have pretty good days overall.
Who would you give the edge to?
Offensive line, you have to give it to the Eagles because all of their offensive linemen, according to Pro Football Focus, all of them are top 10 in their respective positions. The center position, the Chiefs have the number 1 center in the league, and Jason Kelsey is number 2. I'm pretty sure you could argue either way. They're both very, very good centers.
So running back wise, you would give the edge to Philly. I'm taking you.
Yeah, running back wise, I would give the edge to Philly, definitely. Sanders has proven he can do it. Gainwell is proving that he can do it. And Boston Scott, he's always good for 1 or 2 good plays every game.
Yeah, that's true. Ron, you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think Jay hit some great points. I mean, just as an overall unit, I think that definitely Philly has the edge. But it's all going to come down to game script. I mean, it depends on how each team is approaching this game. I can't imagine that KC is gonna go with a run first approach. I would think they're going to rely on Mahomes to, work the ball down the field. I think that Philly is more likely to try and control the clock and control the ball on the ground. Maybe open it up a little bit early, but then put in that, as they've had success with throughout the year, a lot of that, grind out in the second half kind of strategy. So I think it really depends on how the game goes and who's working ahead and who's working from behind.
I don't
Go ahead.
I don't want to make any Eagles fans worried, but I'm worried about Landon Dickerson, his elbow. If he's able to be himself, then I think the running game will be okay. But if he's not close to himself, they might be in trouble in the run game, at least to that side.
That's a fair assessment because Dickerson's nicked up. You still have Dean Johnson dealing with a groin injury. So, yeah, I mean, the right side is definitely a big question mark going into the game with the running blocking aspect. But if you can keep both those two on the field, I mean, whole different story.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Now, I asked Sam the last question I have for you. If you were to make a score prediction and who you think is going to win the game, who would you say?
If I had to pick at this moment, I would say probably the Eagles by 3. Score prediction, I think it's going to be over 30s for both teams. I don't have an exact number for you. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, a lot of predictions, a lot of sims have come out like 37-34. One even had another 41-33 matchup. Like, I said, no way. I would not deal with the stress and agony of going through that again.
Yeah, that was painful, that one.
I mean, just mind-blowing that a game can go back and forth like that and then have a scoreism at a final score. It's crazy.
I looked like I was from Avatar. I was turning blue. I was holding my breath.
I was walking back and forth while I was watching the game. I couldn't sit still. It was bad. So
yeah.
But other than that, I think Gainwell is going to be a key part for Philly's success. Because yes, Miles Sanders has taken that step back, like Jason said, but they might also be preserving him for a game like this, where you see Miles get 20, 25 carries.
It's possible. I mean, it's really what you and I sit here and we, all of us, have our own theories, but I mean, all the work that's being done behind the scenes with the coaching staffs. I mean, they're gonna probably do the unexpected in some cases just to kind of throw, everybody off, because if you and I are thinking it, then Kansas City's thinking it too. So
They're not. It's not going to be an easy time running the ball. I mean, I think everyone knows at this point that Chris Jones is just a force to be reckoned with. He is insane interior defensive lineman. He is just a freak in nature.
Well, both Jones and Frank Clark are on that right side of the line, so Dickerson and Johnson are going to have their hands full all game no matter what way you look at it. So, I mean,
Yes, they are.
I've been saying all along, we'll get more into depth in a little bit when we have other people on, but this game's going to come down to the battle of the trenches on both sides of the ball. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I agree with that too. I think that this is definitely the kind of grind out game that you're going to see. That's going to be decided in those trenches with the offensive and defensive line.
I mean, whoever can get the most, be able to get downfield more often. If you're Eagles, you want to run the ball, chew up the clock to keep Mahomes off the field. But then Mahomes is going to try to be that quick score type of player. So we shall see what happens.
I feel like these battles in the trenches are just going to be amazing to watch, because I think both teams are just stacked in that category. Maybe not so much Chiefs on defense. They have more of run at the quarterback and hit the quarterback, but they can't do that against Hurts. They're not going to be able to run behind them and let them have all that room. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yep. Well,
Yep.
Jason, I appreciate you jumping in to cover the running backs. I'm eager to see what both teams do.
Thanks,
I would
Jay.
give the slight edge slightly to Miles over Isaiah, but it's a toss-up pretty much. So,
Yeah, I would say a toss-up.
Ron, would you agree?
Oh yeah, I think that you'd have to call it pretty even at this point, and just see where it goes.
Yeah. Jay,
I found a interesting betting on all kinds of sites that Kenneth Gainwell is over-under is 14.5 yards.
Nice.
I'd take
14
the
and
over
a
on
half.
that.
Yeah, I would take the over too. But
Yep. That he could do that in one run.
yes, easily.
Yep.
But Jason, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you the boot. My next guest
All right,
is ready
boot
to
me.
go. But
Have a
thank
good
you for
night, guys.
popping in. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jay.
I will talk to you later. All right. Coming in next to break down the wide receiver position is
That's
my
easy
friend
for
Joe
you to
Markey. Good evening,
Gentlemen.
Joe.
Good
Hey,
evening. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
So
great.
far, so good.
Nice, nice.
John hasn't
First
popped
off,
a blood
I want to give
vessel
a
yet.
huge.
Yeah, not yet.
Good. Relax, Johnny. It'll be all right.
I hear you.
Huge shout out to the Basement Show. Thank you guys for letting me do this. And I'm gonna be going over the receivers. So first for Philadelphia Eagles, we have AJ Brown, and I have a little bit of stats the most recent college stats too. So AJ Brown played for Ole Miss. He had 85 receptions, 1,320 yards, and 6 touchdowns his junior year. Then for this most recent season, he's had 88 receptions, 1,496 receiving yards, 17 yards average per reception, and 11 receiving touchdowns, which is phenomenal. Really, really good. I mean, all in all, we have some great receivers on both sides. And then we'll go over to the Kansas City Chiefs. We have Juju Smith-Schuster, and he played at USC. He had 914 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns, and helped in the victory of the Rose Bowl, which is very impressive. Awesome. And then I'm also going to do Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling played at North Carolina State and also in South Florida. He had 53 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. And for the current season, he's had 42 receptions, 687 receiving yards, 16.4 yards average per reception, and 2 receiving touchdowns. And then the guy that's I think is really going to shine and made an exceptional catch. The last game, the Eagles. Let's go, boys. Let's get to the line. Hike the ball.
Yeah.
But Devontae Smith. But this receiver is he's awesome. Devontae Smith played for Alabama. 117 receptions. We got 1,856 yards, 23 touchdowns his senior year. And for the current season, Devontae Smith has 95 receptions, 1,196 receiving yards, 12.6 yards average per reception, and 7 receiving touchdowns. And really, really did an excellent job, the past couple of games. Receivers look amazing. They look good. On both sides, they look good. But the Eagles really, really look wonderful this season. We got good short passes. We got good long passes. I'm sorry, Johnny.
I was saying, so I'm guessing, based off how you're talking, you would give the edge to, obviously, Philly in this matchup.
Absolutely. Just statistics wise, it's on paper. It just looks like the Eagles have really good receivers, and also like maybe it's just like a thing, but that they're the Eagles' attitude this season is great. They're not cocky receivers. You don't see the crazy cockiness and backlash that you used to see sometimes, where it was just like it seemed like the whole team wasn't working together. That like it would just be the quarterbacks and receivers kind of were in. They were working together more than the whole entire team. You don't have that they're working together really well as a team and not just quarterbacks and receivers kind of thing, So,
Ron, you have anything that you would like to add to this?
No, I'm just checking on the injury report. I know Schuster was in the protocol. I wasn't sure if they've officially announced that he's cleared yet or not, but I think that he is. But I was just kind of looking at that. But I know that they've had some they're banged up a little bit in the receiver core for Kansas City. So, as far as the evaluation between the two squads, I agree with you that, Philly has just had an amazing year out of the wide receiver position, and the chemistry between AJ and Jalen has been quite amazing. So, it'll be really interesting. I think that the game can go one of two ways, and one of the two ways it can go is that these two squads are going to decide it. If it's not decided on the ground, obviously, these guys are going to be the ones that make it happen for either side.
Absolutely, and Dallas Goedert he can catch the ball too.
Yeah.
He's done really well as I know he's a tight end, but even like lining it up as a receiver if need be, he might be able to make some really great catches as well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I would agree with that. I mean, for some odd reason too, like I've noticed the last couple of years, Kansas City has wide receivers, but they barely it seems like touch the ball. Like just their two starters on this side alone combined only have 120 receptions, where on the other side of the ball, Devontae and AJ combined for almost 180.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big gap. Then you look at the yards. Philly blows them out of the water 2-1. So like, I think the last time Kansas City had a 1,000-yard wide receiver was probably Jeremy Maclin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you may be right. But the one thing about the reception numbers they're a little deceiving, because if you add in the number of receptions that Travis Kelce has out of the tight end position, I mean that's Mahomes just hones in on him sometimes, and it's not unusual to see him come down the field and have 7 or 8 catches in a drive.
Yeah, that's true. Joe, anything else that you would like to say? Wise?
No, I mean, fun fact, speaking of Eagles receivers, I worked for Foot Locker years ago, and I actually got to meet Deshaun Jackson. So I thought that was neat, and when he came into the store, I said hi to Deshaun, and he was wearing the same sneakers that I was wearing, crazy enough. But he had Kobe 5s on. A big sneakerhead over here. Love the sneaker community. And he had the same bright blue. People used to call them Smurf shoes, but I thought they looked really cool. And it was cool to actually see one of the receivers for the Eagles come into the store, and he was wearing the same shoes that I was, and I was just doing stock in the back. So it's that was a cool. Yeah, that was a cool experience for sure.
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know how I would react if I saw somebody like that. Like we see people like that at our job all the time, Joe. Like Mike Quick shops in our store. We've seen a couple of Eagles players, Flyers players, but like to actually see someone repping the same thing that you're repping, it's like, hey, I'm actually pretty cool.
It was neat, yeah, for sure.
And so I've been asking everybody that breaks down the slide, do you have a prediction for the game, score-wise, and obviously we know who you're rooting for based off the jersey you're wearing.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's real close, but I'm going to say 31-21, Eagles win.
Nice.
Fair assessment.
Yeah.
And now one more question. Out of these people, do you have a dark horse that you would say could surprise people and have a breakout game? I know you said something about Devontae Smith, maybe.
Yeah. I really think that he's gonna have a play that's an awesome reception. I'm hoping way downfield. So that's what I'm thinking. And I mean. Not to knock AJ Brown either. He made a catch that I thought was going to hit the ground last game. I thought that was going to be incomplete, and I'm just biting my nails and scoops it right up. So.
I mean,
but yeah, Devontae Smith is going to make a really, really good catch for sure.
Now, one last question for you is: you got to think deep and hard about this one. Our reserves. Who makes the bigger play, Quez Watkins or Zach Pascal?
Quez Watkins.
Because you got that possession receiver, but then you also have a possession speed receiver. So,
right.
I mean, it's definitely an intriguing matchup, both sides of the ball, because I feel both teams have that speed at wide receiver.
Yes.
So it would be.
But yeah, Quez Watkins. Yeah.
85-yard touchdown pass?
I'll take that.
I'd hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll start calling him Greg Lewis at that point. I mean, Greg Lewis only showed up in the big games, caught the first touchdown in Super Bowl 30. What was it? 39 when we played the Patriots. He caught the touchdown. So, but anything else that you guys would like to add to the wide receiver position? Feel free. I mean.
No, I think he covered all the key elements here. I think that Joe did a great job with what he came up with today. So no, I think that
only other-
overall, it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah. Now, the only other thing that if Joe wants to read this real quick, he can. Ron's son brought this to our attention. Chiefs' highest graded receiver is 52nd overall, which is Juju, and then the Eagles is 6th with AJ and 16th according to Pro Football Focus. So that
Nice.
that says it alone that Philly has that more dominant wide receiver group than KC does. Like, look how many team players are in between Devontae and Juju. Like, it's crazy.
And there may be some concern
Yeah.
with Mahomes, planting and throwing the long ball, with him still being a little ginger on the leg, on the ankle. It may be a little painful for him to really kind of lean into one. So that could affect, the real long ball that he would normally throw.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Cole, go Birds, wait seems forever, let's do it again. I mean, Super Bowl week is always the longest. And then Super Bowl Sunday is the longest day ever because they start the game so late.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. Anything else that you guys would like to add to this? Or should I give Joe the boot and get our next person in here?
Well, we appreciate you, Joe. Thanks for popping in and helping us out tonight. And
Thank you, Ron. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
We're going to roll on to our next guest.
Now, if I do my recap show next Monday, would you like to come back?
Sure, of course.
Win or
was
lose.
fun.
Not only if they win, you would have to come
Oh,
back.
win or lose, I'll be here.
We'll still be here. So
Yep. But
we might not be as laughing and joking as we are right now, but
hopefully,
we'll be here.
because this show is supposed to be all about having fun, but
Yeah.
we do get heated at times. We are passionate. We love Philly teams, and when they do bonehead things, we do get mad. But so does everybody else.
What we'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
doing on next Monday's show is planning where we're all going to meet at the parade. So
There you go. But
Sounds good to me.
all right,
thank you, Joe. I appreciate
thanks,
your time.
Joe.
I will
Alrighty,
see-
guys. Thank you
I will
so
see you
much.
tomorrow at
Have a
work
great
if
night.
you're there. So,
All right. Yep, you'll see me.
all right. Sounds good. Later. We'll move him. Next one on the list is Mr. Tyler LaBreach breaking down the tight ends. Oh. There you go. What's up,
Hey,
Mr.
Tyler.
Tyler?
What up, Mr. Knast, Mr. Ron? How are you guys doing on this
Hey, Tyler.
fine Monday week of Super Bowl?
Like we were just saying, it's like the wait seems like it takes forever. We want to just play the game, get it over with.
I feel you. Well, I'm here to go ahead and talk about these tight ends. If you guys are ready. I mean,
Yeah, whenever you are.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll start with the Chiefs here. I'll start with Travis Kelce. I know a little bit more about him than I do Dallas Goddard. No offense to you Eagle fans. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the league. He's Mahomes' favorite weapon. The stats say for himself, he had 110 receptions. I mean, there was a couple games where Mahomes didn't target him as much, but he did have 12 receiving touchdowns. Granted, he did play every game. I mean, Travis Kelce, he's a good blocker as well. I watched a couple of those Chiefs games earlier this year. Really, I think this game's going to go down to the blocking of the tight ends and who can make the best catch.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Others-
mean, Goddard's no slouch neither. I mean, he missed a couple games this year on a unfortunate injury that came on a no-call penalty. But, like, I wouldn't write off Goddard. Yes, Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the league, but Goddard has also proven that he can make those big catches when you need him to.
Yeah, and I'm not counting Goddard out. You know, both teams have very good weapons. It's just that Goddard might not be that number one, number two target. He might be that check down that goes for 5 yards. I mean, Goddard's a great player. I mean, look what he did in the title game, and look what he did in the divisional. He didn't catch much, but other than that, he did good, man. I mean, both these guys, they're good tight ends for their teams, man. I mean, I remember when the Eagles won it with Zach Ertz.
Yep.
Absolutely.
He was a beast as well. But like I said, it just comes down to blocking and.
No,
Yeah.
Ron's son has a question for you in chat. Can Kelsey block Hassan Reddick 1-on-1?
Gonna say, oh,
Now he's throwing a matchup at you. Like that's a tough one because a lot of people haven't been able to shut down Hassan Reddick lately. So that might be a key matchup to look out for.
Well, but
oh, go ahead, Ron.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's just one thing that you're going to find out is that even though he's playing the tight end position, he's probably not going to be the primary person who's going to be assigned to Reddick, even though he's playing out of the tight end. Because normally, what a couple teams have done this year is they try to drop somebody else back into that double coverage to try and seal that end, but because Kelsey's already out in the formation, and with the quick release that Mahomes has, Kelsey's just learned to live in that zone right there, past the linebackers. So if the linebackers are playing up tight, if they have the running game going and those linebackers start inching up, then Mahomes is just going to be, him and Kelsey are just going to be playing catch in that zone right beyond the linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's going to be a tough day. Hassan Reddick's a great, phenomenal player for the Eagles. It's going to take, if they do a run play, it's going to take either Kelsey and then maybe even another tight end or one of the guards. I mean, we really see what happens. I mean, I didn't really see him. Well, Travis Kelce, they're both great players, you know. Just whoever helps the most, in my opinion. But I'm not going to count out Goddard as well. Goddard's a great player. Missed 5 games, unfortunately. That hurts. But he has the same number of yards per reception as Kelsey. He's actually a little bit more on that. And I think if you didn't miss those 5 games, they're right there with the same number of stats.
I mean, it's pretty much identical. Like half the receptions, but you missed 5 games. He's 600 yards less. Missed 5 games. Average wise, like you said, he's a little bit higher than Kelsey. And then receiving touchdowns, who knows where that number winds up if he doesn't miss time. So.
And the Eagles have so many other weapons. I mean, that's, we're not. The Chiefs are very, very much first option is always seems to be Kelsey when they get down in the red zone. So that's just the trust factor between Mahomes and Kelsey. And I think that has a lot to do with that touchdown total because they really didn't have a lot of confidence in their run game until Pachenko really started to emerge. Hilaire was just not getting it done.
I agree. I mean,
to stop Travis Kelce, you might have to play 2 men on him. You might have to play man on him. Either way, or something, because Travis Kelce's a beast, man. I mean, you can see him. He'll wreck the defense. He'll go on a nice slant. He can go on a streak. He can go on whatever. I think if you guys play man, or not man, but if you guys play put 2 on him at times, I think the Eagles will be the better team here.
It's definitely debatable. I mean, and then my only other question, unless Ron has one for you, if you were to make a score prediction on who you think would win the game, what would you say? Putting you on the spot.
I really think that this game is going to be a close game. I'm going to say Philly wins it. Shoot.
I mean, you can always give us a score when you come back and do the kickers and punters later if you want. So you can have. have some time to think about it.
I'll come back to that.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
this coming from a Tampa Bay fan.
Yeah.
Who now needs to find a new quarterback.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in the off season.
We will. That's a whole other show. Trust me.
Not stressing about that as of right now.
Not yet, but you will see Tyler back in probably a little bit in about an hour and a half, depending on how fast we go through the rest of these. Because Tyler will be back to do kickers and punters, which.
And I might be here for the safeties.
Yes, he might be filling in for somebody also. So I haven't heard from our guest for that one yet. Keep in touch with him. But if you have to jump back in, just jump back in, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, thanks for your time.
We'll see you soon.
Lalo.
Alrighty. He's still crying, and then Derek Carr may be a good fit for the Bucks. That's Ron's nephew. Derek Carr might become Tampa Bay. You never know.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
So.
Like you said, I'm not stressing about that yet. And Lalo, we won the division. You didn't, so take the L. But that's on the whole.
I love it.
That sounds like a player.
All right,
I will
man.
catch you guys later.
All right.
right.
Sounds good, buddy. I'm going to kick you out
Thanks,
now.
guys.
We'll move. Bring our next guest on the show to dissect the Philly offensive line versus the Kansas City defensive line is my good friend TJ Bellis. Good evening, sir. Welcome in.
What's up, y'all?
How's
Hey,
it
TJ.
going?
Not too bad. Just doing a little bit of Minecraft and stuff.
So I present the slide for you. You got the Eagles offensive line on your left, and then the Kansas City defensive line on your right. So
Yeah.
it depends on how you want to dissect this matchup. Feel free.
Right. It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be a tough battle for the Eagles. I'll say that much. Chris Jones, 15.5 sacks. That's gonna be a problem for y'all, and I don't see how it's gonna work out. I would just be worried for Jalen Hurts for the entire night with Chris Jones coming after him. I mean,
Well, you're gonna have to probably double team him at least with Dickerson and Kelsey a lot. That's for sure.
exactly.
But then I also worry about Frank Clark versus Lane Johnson because Frank Clark can rush the passer just as well as anybody too. And then Lane
I
Johnson.
mean, like I said, just based on these stats, it just shows that the Eagles have given up a decent amount of sacks this year, and Kansas City's gotten a pretty good amount themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the left side, the Eagles win that matchup, I think. But the strong focus point is going to be on that right side of the line. And like I said, Lane Johnson's not 100% with the groin injury, and then Dickerson is banged up with an elbow injury. And that's Kansas City's strength is on that right side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's definitely a concern.
but
I mean, you have to be worried about Frank Clark and Chris Jones, but you also have to think, well, George Karlaftis is a really good player too, and
yeah, he's a rookie this year, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
he is.
He was at, correct me if I'm wrong, Purdue?
I think.
I
I'm
think
not
so,
sure.
too. Yeah, Ken's right. Games are won in the trenches. Defense, to me, wins games. So
Yep.
that is a very good statement. I mean, it definitely is going to be a good back and forth battle on both sides of the ball, whether if it's the Eagles on offense, Chiefs on defense, or Kansas City on offense and the Eagles on defense. These two matchups are going to determine this game hands down.
Yeah.
Whoever gives their quarterback more time to win, the time of possession, stuff like that, is going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think as far as that goes, Kansas City has the edge in defense to offensive line.
So, I mean, it's definitely a debatable subject. Now, say Lane Johnson was 100%, so throughout the groin injury, and Dickerson doesn't have that elbow injury. Do you think differently, or do you still think the same?
I think it would be better for y'all if they were both not injured. But I still think Kansas City would have a slight edge, not as big of an edge as they do with them being injured, though.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment, Ryan. What do you think?
Well, I mean, just remember though that even past the injury, as far as Lane Johnson's concerned, it's still been over a full season since he's given up a sack or a quarterback hit. So
that's true.
So I mean, even Lane Johnson at 80% is probably better than most of the other people at his position in the league.
Yeah. I mean, he also did shut down Nick Bosa. Oh, no, is it Nick or Joey Bosa on San Francisco? Nick, right?
Nick.
He shut down Nick last week.
Yeah.
Out of that game. I mean, Nick Bosa didn't have one quarterback hit. Didn't even touch the quarterback once. And then the week before, he shut down Keon Thibodeau from the Giants. So,
yep.
I'll be honest, I think offense affects defense. And so with their offense, like going back to the 49ers last week with Brock Purdy getting hurt and them having, who was it, Josh Johnson, is that his name?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, having Josh Johnson at quarterback, I think that affected the defense as well because they didn't have no momentum whatsoever when they go out on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. So, like, it's obviously going to be a slugfest. Like, can the Eagles run the ball on Kansas City's front four, do you think? That is obviously our strength. So
that's what I would worry about the most is whether or not y'all could run the ball on their defense. If y'all start getting, like, big chunks of runs on them, then I think y'all would win fairly, not easily, but fairly handedly, because with the chunks, if y'all are getting chunks of runs, the pass game's going to open up more, just that type of stuff.
Yep.
I think that's a fair assessment. Now, I've been asking everybody who comes on, do you have a score prediction?
I do, and I think it's not going to be as high scoring as people think. I actually think it's going to be 24-21 Kansas City.
Okay.
Another field goal deciding game. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what the over-under is. It keeps going back and forth. But, like, that's right in the .5 bracket. I mean, everyone besides for one so far has the game a one-possession game. So,
yeah.
I said a couple minutes ago, like, this game's going to come down to the battle of the trenches. And who can push
and
the
I
other
don't
one
feel like
downfield.
I don't feel like I talked about the Eagles' offensive line enough. I mean, they've been pretty good this season. I mean, with Jordan Mailata, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Dickerson. The only issue with their offensive line is the left guard, and he's played pretty well, but
yeah,
he's just not as experienced as the other guys.
Well, believe it or not, Salomolo has been on the team longer than
really.
Besides for Lane Johnson and Kelsey, like Salomolo has been there since the Super Bowl. I mean,
I didn't know that.
He was injured that year when they won the Super Bowl, but he was there.
Right, he was on the roster.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
the over
under
as of today is 50.
So TJ said 24-21. That puts it right around 45. So that's in the ballpark. I mean, I think it's going to be the over, but we'll talk about mine and Ryan's predictions toward the end of the show. But I expect a good physical. It's going to be a physical game. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
I think both defenses are going to play pretty well.
Because you have Jeff Stoutland, who is arguably the best offensive line coach in the game, versus a defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo, who's been doing it for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to the Eagles for giving Stoutland an extension and making him the highest paid position coach in the NFL.
Oh, man. Totally 100% agrees with it. Look what he did with Jordan Mailata. I don't know if TJ, you noticed or not. Jordan Mailata was a 7th-round developmental pick from the NFL International League. The guy played rugby. He never played football before in his life.
Right.
And now to be an all-pro left tackle is a whole different aspect. So
I mean, ever since he came in the league, he's been a pretty solid offensive lineman for y'all.
I mean, everybody was afraid that Michael Parsons was going to own him, but he held his own.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. Anything else that we'd like to add to this slide, or
No, I don't have anything else.
No, I mean it's going to be an interesting game. The defense for Kansas City is definitely really tough, but I mean the offense for Philadelphia is really good too. So I mean it's going to be a tough, hard-fought game. I mean,
now the only one question I would have for you is: Chris Jones technically a defensive end, or is he actually a D tackle?
I think he's a D tackle, but I'm not sure.
Okay, because if you remember back in 2017 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they moved Brandon Graham into a defensive tackle slot to be able to pass rush the quarterback. I was wondering if that was like the same type of setup that Kansas City does or not. They call it the Joker
they
defense.
definitely could. They definitely could. It definitely could work out for them. I mean,
I think this is the premium matchup for this game. Because I love Kansas City's front four, but you also can't knock Philly's offensive line.
Yep.
So,
It's a good matchup.
definitely.
Yep.
But I mean, I think I don't know if I have anything else to say. Do you guys have anything that you would like to add to this one or not?
No, I think
I'm all good.
I think TJ covered it all. He did a great job.
Yep, TJ, I appreciate you
Thank
jumping in. If we do,
Thank y'all for having me.
if we do a recap show next Monday, would you be interested in coming back?
Yeah.
Win or lose, we're doing one. Either if the Eagles win or lose. I mean, we might be
I'm
a little bit
Panthers
salty.
fan, so I mean,
Yes, he has to
it
deal
don't
with
really affect me either way. But
he has to deal with Frank Reich next season. Wish him luck.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
But TJ,
Yeah,
thanks for your
thanks.
time.
yes, sir.
I appreciate it, buddy.
But I
See
think
you later.
Reich will put a good staff together, though.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get Deuce Staley as his offensive coordinator. TJ,
Yeah,
is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I
TJ
thought
would
we had
know.
already hired Deuce Staley.
As your offensive coordinator, right?
Yes.
I don't think he's offensive coordinator. Not right now. He's not. But we've hired him as something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
I thought I read offensive coordinator, but I might have misread it.
If he's not, he
I know
definitely
we
deserves
hired.
it.
I know we hired the Broncos defensive coordinator, but
Interesting.
mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to give you the boot and bring my next person in. But TJ, again, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
All right, we'll move him. Bringing in my next guest to break down the opposite matchup, we have Philly's defensive line versus Kansas City offensive line. Is my buddy Jason Hall. Evening, sir. Thanks for
Good evening,
calling.
guys. How you guys doing today, man?
We're hanging
How
in
you
there.
Hey, man, I'm super excited, baby. It's going to be a throwdown at the hoedown out in Arizona this weekend. So you got to feel the heat, baby. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
talking.
Ron started to show his sunglasses on. He since has taken them off. I guess he can see again, but
Yeah, yep.
Ryan he shines night and day. It's all good, my friend.
I got my Arizona garb on, man. I'm ready to go.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. So listen, guys, listen. I am very excited to talk about this, all right? Because defense, like the last person said, or maybe a couple people said before, the game's won in the trenches, guys. And this matchup for this Sunday has got trenches all over it, all right? So let's just talk about this for a few minutes here. So I'm going to start with the opposite team. I'm going to give them a little courtesy today because I'm going to leave the best for last, all right? So we're going to keep it that way. So now, look at Kansas City Chiefs, right? They got some pretty outstanding defensive linemen. I mean, they've been I like to compare them, as saying that they work more as a unit as opposed to the defensive linemen for the Eagles. I think have all individual talents that they just expose on their on the opposition. So if you look at Troy Smith in the tackles, and Orlando Brown Jr. I mean, those guys, they're very solid at their position. They're very poised. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't have a lot of flags. And then the center, he's pretty much on point. He's Patrick Mahomes' right hand guy, so he keeps them in good situations and he calls out the defenses so Patrick can make his moves. Whether he has to get the bus out of the pocket or if he has to, remain steadfast and try to find his open receivers or run the ball for that matter. And like I said, these guys are solid. If you look at the stats that they have up there, they only gave up 26 sacks in the entire season. That's That's huge, man. 6.4 yards per average play. So that means they're getting out there, they're pushing, So like whether it's the running back game or the passing game, I mean, they know what they're doing. These guys are seasoned. All right. So, excuse me. And if you look at the last statistic was one that's really sticks out: 41 touchdown passes. 41 touchdown passes. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable, man. So, but I'll tell you what, though, they got their hands full this Sunday. Because I hear a lot of people, Johnny, Ron, talking about, Patrick Mahomes is going to pick you guys apart. They're going to do so and so forth. Let me stop all that right now. Because this defensive line is, as we have said previously, they are hungry dogs. And hungry dogs run faster. And this is the fastest that you will see them all year long. Everybody is healthy. Brandon Graham is licking his chops. He's been licking his chops since the day he put the pads back on after he got injured last year. So he is ready to rock and roll. Fletcher Cox, I mean, what do you got to say, man? The guy's like the Incredible Hulk, Now, one thing I will say about Fletcher, he has to show up. So there's been some games where he's been, he hasn't been himself, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's a case of slowing down. Maybe it's a case of, getting a little older or whatever the case may be. Or maybe he's depending on Javon Hargrave to carry the load. Those are all good points because Javon Hargrave has been a monster. I mean, he's been a monster. Who would have ever thought signing this guy would have resulted in us being pretty much the number one defensive line in the entire league? I mean, offenses fear us. We give our defensive coordinators nightmares, all right? So these guys are ready to put their ear back and just go, 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 go. And not to mention, don't forget, we got the grumpy old man and Dominican Tom Suh. I mean, this guy came in right at the right time. He is the ultimate space filler. He plays nasty still. He still got that push in him in his drive, and he wants a ring. I mean, let's keep it real. He came here for a ring. He said that once he was signed in the press conference. He's ready to go. He's ready to have this parade in Broad Street, and I'm telling you, there's no other parade like Broad Street's parade when we win this Super Bowl. Talk about the defensive end, Josh Sweat. I mean, this guy, man, he's like the Flash on the end. Like, you can't do anything about him. If he starts to get loose and he starts flushing Mahomes out of that pocket, it's going to be a long game. So but the one thing I like about our defensive line versus their offensive line is that the strength of our defensive line is that because they contain very well, and then they also can, they rush the quarterback, very well. And what they do is they open up opportunities for their linebacker core to go eat. So the Hassan Reddick is all over the place. He can cause havoc because the defensive lineman is going to be right there to block all that nonsense that they're going to try to play. The little ring around the rosy plays and all that stupid crap. Throw that stuff out the window, man. We're going to play some hard-nosed, snot-knocking, beat-rocking football this weekend. And I, for one, cannot see. And I'm going to tell you like this, and there's two stats I want to throw at you guys. Number one, there's a bet online at MGM, and I put my bet on it. To get a safety in this game is plus 6,500. So if you bet $20, you can get like $1,300 off that bet. What better line to place that bet on? Just $20, guys. It's a fun bet. Place it, all right?
Yeah.
You might want to know something. We can all go out to the Capitol Grill and enjoy ourselves after we get this bet, all right? That's number one. And then number two, as far as the defensive line is concerned, like I said, it's they create havoc that lets the other parts of the defense do their job. Okay, so the secondary is going to be nice and loose because they have time to cover their receivers that are making moves and so on and so forth. I mean, they're going to keep Kansas City humble. Okay, so once they keep them humble, and that's what's going to make Patrick Mahomes less dangerous because his options won't be open. That we make them one dimensional. Hey, start the buses, pop the champagne. Let's get the green out, grease the poles, do whatever we got to do, and we're going to win this game on Sunday because our defensive line is superior.
Yeah, well, like Tyler said in the chat, plus it's better to have a group that has 10 plus sacks over one person with 10. So, and Philly has that. They have multiple of this front four with 10 or more sacks. Like, when was the last time you saw 3 out of 4 defensive linemen have double-digit sacks? It's been a long time.
Absolutely, man. We have more sacks than Wegmans, man. I'm telling you, we can do it all. Every position we stack. We can move from everywhere in the field. We could rush. We kill the run. Running backs don't like to see us because when we get a hold of them, when they get to that line of scrimmage, you can see it in their eyes. They're just like, "Oh my God, why just couldn't we lose last round? I could be in Hawaii somewhere. I could have played in the Pro Bowl this week, but no, here I am. I'm getting my ass kicked on Sunday because we got to play these hungry guys in Philly who don't care about our well-being." So. That's what has to happen here. We have to get nasty. We have to show them right away, impose our will. And the big thing that we need to do in the Super Bowl to really win, defense needs to create turnovers. We create those turnovers. We get those balls popping in the air. Like that's what our MO has been. Defenses causes ruptures. Ball goes out. Linebackers pop. Safeties or corners catch. That's what puts us in good position for us to go ahead and march that ball down to the goal line. So we got to get some pressure on there. We got to create some havoc and get some turnovers. And I guarantee you, we'll walk away with that victory.
I mean, I can't say any better.
No, you really couldn't say it any better. That was really, really good. I like that a lot.
Hey, listen. I'm here for you guys. Like anything you need, I'm here for Sweet 16s, bar mitzvahs, you name it. We can do it. As long as it's about the birds, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, as passionate as you get, I mean, Gary Wagner's in chat. He's saying, "What's up, Jason?" He's saying,
"What's up, Gary?"
He's saying the whole team. I mean, but the front four has been what has helped us so much all year. They have to continue that pressure.
Absolutely.
So,
and listen, if Patrick Mahomes is out there limping around, that leg is going to end up looking like a T-bone steak. All right. So, and we're going to bring the fork and knife on Sunday. So he better hope that he triple tapes that. I don't care if he puts metal on his leg, his ankle, whatever the hell he's got to do. But I'm telling you, if he starts hobbling around, you can forget about it, man. It's lights out.
Yeah. And Jason's in the chat. Ron's son, who was on earlier. LeVon Joseph and Sue were signed since those signings. Reddick has 10-plus sacks. Not sure the exact number. I think it's 12 or 14, but that's only the second half of the season. So
imagine that, right? Imagine that. I mean, guys, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the best D-line in all of football. I mean, come on. This is no comparison.
And then Mike bringing up, we said an NFL record of 4 guys over 10 sacks, not 3. So 40 sacks among 4 players. I think the whole team had 70. So that was too shy of an all-time NFL record.
Exactly. Which is why, what was our record in this year? Let me hear it. What was our record?
14-3, right?
Exactly. That's what it is, baby. So that's
14-3.
But you can't know at Kansas City because they were the same record, 14-3.
That'd be 14.
That's true.
And then if you look at the stats going into this game, they're both 16-3. Obviously, they won both playoff games. They have the same identical number of points too. So they're both 16-3, and they both scored 536 points. Which
I hope if we win the coin toss, I hope we defer and let our defense get loose early, and let Jalen get that ball back in the second half and keep marching us down the field. Because the other way that you're going to beat Patrick Mahomes in this game, you got to keep him off the field. So our defense has got to get those 3 and outs quick, fast, no more than two series in any time they touch the ball. Get him off the field. When you keep him off the field, we will win that game.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Do you see this being a game like Super Bowl 52, a back and forth, like high passing, high scoring game, or do you see a physical game?
You know, I it's funny, Johnny, you say that because I go back and forth about it, and I think about, you know, what would this look like? I mean, gosh, you got 2 dynamic cornerbacks, 2 dynamic offenses, 2 dynamic defenses. I mean, the only thing you need is, you know, a magic show. I mean, I don't know what to think about this, you know, like, so a lot of it's going to depend on what the game plan is. You know, if Andy Reid, you know, sticks to letting Patrick, you know, make his magic, you know, doing things on the fly, it's going to be tough for us. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you're going to ask me for my prediction, I mean, listen, I'm never going to go against my birds, number one. But as far as the closeness is concerned, I would, the over-under was what, 45, I believe you said?
50.
50. Wow. Okay. Yep. I'm going under 50. All right. So, like, I really don't think it's going to be that much scored, especially like in the end, like the ending quarters. I think all the scoring is going to be done closer in the first half. Or actually, no. I'm going to take that back. there's not going to be much scoring in the first half. It's all going to happen in the second half. The fireworks are going to start. The sparks are going to fly. And I think that's what's going to make a great game for it. But I'm going to give you my prediction. My prediction is going to be Eagles 27, the Kansas City Chiefs 14. Bang!
Wow, nice.
So
I'm
you can
I'm going to call one when the clock hits 0-0-0.
That was the lowest prediction so far for Kansas City. I'll say that.
14. I
I
mean,
think we're going to rattle them. I think we're going to jump out on them early. You know, like we're going to go up at least 14 at the half, and then after that, oh man, and think about the home crowd, guys. Think about who's going to be there. The Eagles fans are going to. That's going to be a home game for us.
Yeah, I mean, they have said that the majority of ticket sales, like I think 24-25%, have been bought from the state of Pennsylvania. So that says something right there too.
Yeah, I mean that's not including the other states that are, that are Eagles fans. I mean, we're getting a good gathering here. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be awesome to watch, man. I cannot wait. I'm going to get my cheesesteak, ready for, oh my God. Commercials, all right, cool, but they haven't been great in years, so I'm not worried about the commercials. Just keep the game going. Let's get this done. And I'm trying to buy a special jersey. I don't know. See, Johnny, I don't know what jersey to buy anymore, man. Like, because every time I think about buying a jersey, a player leaves or, they end up sucking. What jersey should I get this year, man?
Well, that's why I got my own customized one.
See, you can never go wrong with that, right? But I wear my Dolphins jersey just traditionally. That's the only jersey I really own like that.
You need this.
Yes, I do. I do. So
as the official Super Bowl patch. Once I get my new jersey, I will be sewing this on.
I'll put it this way: if there's an MVP of the Super Bowl, whoever that is in the Eagles, I'll buy their jersey.
Okay. So 9 out of 10 chances Jalen Hurts. You might as well just say it now.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Maybe I'll buy one offensive and one defensive.
Yeah, I mean, I told you who I'm going to probably wind up getting. I'm probably going to get a Brandon Graham after this.
BG, right? Yeah.
Because and then
he's a Hall of Famer for the Birds. There's no question. He's an absolute Hall of Famer for us, and hopefully he'll get into the actual Hall of Fame as well.
Now that being said, Brandon Graham's a free agent, Hargrave's a free agent, and Ron says Fletcher Cox is under contract for one more year.
I knew you were going to go there.
You
were going to go there.
Who do you bring back?
Okay. And it hurts me to say this, okay? Fletch has been real. But Javon Hargrave has proven himself. As my point stated before, Fletcher at times waits to see what happens. Javon Hargrave he attacks every play. He's still proven he has the motor. And it's not to say that Fletcher's not great. He's been great. So he's had a great career here. He'll always be a Bird, whatever the case may be. But if I gotta have, get rid of a girlfriend, it's got to be, the one I've been with, for a long time. I know that sounds messed up, but I'm trying to rationalize myself to be able to do this. You know what I mean?
We understand.
Well, you got Jordan Davis waiting in the wings too. So.
Exactly. Ron makes a great point. And so, Fletcher to me is almost like the Jason Peters situation a couple years back. When do you let go? You thank him for everything he's done for us. He's been awesome. He's a Bird for life. But at some point in time, you got to be able to cut your losses. I do not want to get in a hostage situation contract wise with this guy going forward. Not that he would do that, but I still don't want to even get to that point where that's even a forethought. So if I had to break out the checkbook today, I'll sign. I'll put a section in somewhere in the link for Fletcher to have his own picture, and then I'll send him with some Eagles gear and tell him good luck, and thank you. But yes, so I'm signing Javon Hargrave.
Well, my buddy Mike in the chat says BG is coming back. I think Hargrave is gone and possibly Fletch. They will be looking at defensive line in the first round.
And honestly, that's the way you do it. So I don't know if you guys seen this. I think at least 90% of our current starters all came in the draft.
Yeah, offensively.
That's
Offensively, I think it was 10 out of 11.
Yeah,
and defensively, probably a little bit less. I'd probably say 8 out of 11. But
yeah.
The draft picks are finally paying off. A lot of these times we reach for players and people are like, oh, well, why are we going to draft somebody like that? and all that, but Howie's making us all look like fools with some of these picks now.
Listen, Howie is the man. All right, like I like this guy so much. Like I want to Facebook friend him. Like Howie has just been super awesome through this whole process. When we put him back in, we put him in the bad kids room for a little while Chip Kelly was here, which was the biggest mistake that we've ever could have made. Hell, we probably would have had 2 or 3 championships by now. But you got to give props to Howie Roseman. He literally has turned his franchise around with his creativity with the cap. Put his input, getting the right players in, because the people now. Nice thing about Philly right now, you got to think about it, guys. We're now a place where people want to go. Because remember, for years, people didn't want to come to Philadelphia. They didn't like the fans. Some of them probably didn't like the location, the weather. But Philly is the ultimate sports town, and this franchise is the eye of that, right? So people are going to want to have interest in coming here, especially if we're winning now. So let's keep a lookout for not only just some of the people that we're going to get in the draft, but some of these free agents that want to come here and try to win a title. That's going to be a big factor next year.
Yeah, I've been saying it all along. I'll go into more depth when we get into that position. That Saints pick, I wouldn't mind trading back and getting more assets. And then there's a certain player that I would draft to replace an upcoming free agent because I don't think we bring him back. But I like this comment before you leave. Let BG go play with Dougie P in Jacksonville. What do you think of that?
I think that's awesome, Jason, because, listen, Fletch retiring out in Duval County, as his last rah, and with his boy Dougie P. I don't think it could get any better for Fletch at that point in time. As a matter of fact, listen, if it's not Jacksonville or Miami, then I'll hang it up and I'll go up in the booth and commentate or something like that.
There you go.
But you've had a great career. Keep it moving, man.
Well, unfortunately, I got to keep the show moving. I got other people ready to jump in. Jay, I mean, that was impressive.
Very good.
Would you like to come back next Monday for a recap show?
I hope so, Johnny. I really hope so. I hope I can come with the same happiness and enthusiasm that I have in my heart right now. Because if these Kansas City Chiefs beat my Eagles, I'm going to fly to Kansas City and I'm going to burn down the first barbecue hut I see. Okay? But give me a call this week, Johnny. We'll talk about it.
Make sure.
Other than that, thank you for having me. Go Birds!
Make sure you yell in the door first so Andy can get clear before you burn it down.
I'll send the barbecue to Andy's house so that way he's clear.
Thanks, Chase.
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night, man.
Our next slide on the list is our linebacker position, and I am bringing somebody on who knows Hassan Reddick from Temple University and is also a native of Wisconsin, so he knows TJ Edwards very well. So with that being said, everyone, here's Joseph Gallagher. Good evening, Joe. Thanks for popping in.
How's it going? I made sure to be prepared, too.
Yeah,
So, be all about it. How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. I mean, everything's on schedule so far. I haven't lost my mind just yet, but
it's heading in that direction, but you're still good.
A little bit.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, Johnny. When you had reached out about jumping on and talking about one of the positions here, obviously, you knew I was going to jump to linebackers pretty quick. So, I mean, I'm all decked out, and it's been a long time since Temple fans have been able to talk about somebody in the NFL actually making an impact, not only on their team but on their hometown team. But I guess just to kind of give some background here with these linebackers, both the Eagles and the Chiefs, they play a base 4-3 defense. For those of you who don't understand that, you've got a weak side linebacker, you've got your middle linebacker, and get your strong side. Your weak side linebacker, typically the guy that wants to be the fastest. That's usually the one getting called out in the pass coverage. Your middle linebacker, that's typically the quarterback of your defense, usually calling your plays on the field, but essentially just good enough at everything, blitzing, spying, covering, etc. And then your strong side linebacker, this is the guy that's typically following the tight end around, lining up on his side of the play. Usually the guy tackling the running back, if they're following the tight end on a play call. So, and that's also usually your strongest linebacker. It's really interesting to see these two these two teams go at it because both teams have a very successful linebacker core in a different aspect of the game. One's very good at stopping the run, one's very good at stopping the pass. And I think ultimately, when the question comes up about which direction I'm leaning as to who has the better linebacker core, that's really gonna come into play, I think. If you want me to just kind of jump in here and give you just a little rundown on the guys that are up on the screen.
Yeah, if you have anything that you would like to add, I mean, I just made these so everybody who's in the chat can see. But if you have any personal opinions that you would like to add, please feel free.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the homer side here. Our Philadelphia Eagles. So obviously, Kaiser White, I think, was a huge addition for us this year. He's actually a PA guy. Granted, from the wrong side of the state. Grew up outside of Pittsburgh. Went to West Virginia. We won't fault him for that. I thought it was interesting when he came over because he actually played safety in college. And so, if you're looking at his combine stats, he was actually one of the fastest safeties in the 2018 draft. And what's interesting about that is obviously he's now playing the linebacker position. And if you recall, what I was just saying, that weak side linebacker usually wants to be your fastest guy. When he was with the Chargers, pretty much, his whole career, he actually led the Chargers in tackles every year. And I thought that was interesting. Last year, I believe he was 8th in the NFL in total tackles. And, for Brandon Staley to let him walk didn't really make any sense to me. So you bring in a guy that has a ton of speed. You position him next to TJ Edwards, the defensive quarterback, essentially, the heart of your defense, a guy who, call me the Wisconsin Homer, right? Plays with a ton of heart. We actually moved out here just after his freshman year. Had a chance to see him not only play for the Badgers, but essentially lead that defense for 4 years under arguably one of the best college defensive coordinators in Jim Leonard. He was led the team in tackles all 4 years he was there. Was a Buckus Award finalist, the whole 9 yards. And then to go undrafted just shows how good, college linebackers can be, and just college football in general. But obviously, the Eagles, they always find a way to kind of poach one or two of those undrafted guys and give them a shot. And, he came on strong last year, but my goodness, the way that defense has performed this year, TJ Edwards deserves his kudos. The guy has just been all over the field. He's relaying the plays on the defense. And he's got the Eagles, sitting atop the NFL as one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Mr. Reddick himself.
I got to say, my boy Hassan. I actually had the opportunity of tutoring him his freshman year at Temple, which was really cool. He was massive then, and he's pretty massive now. He's from Camden. He's a homer. He kind of knew he wanted to go to Temple, got a chance to play at Temple. He's arguably probably the best linebacker that Temple's ever seen. I would argue between him and Tyler Matakevich, who's actually playing in Buffalo right now. But I mean, he got a chance to go to Arizona, first round pick. And I think everybody, when they heard the news that Reddick was going to come to Philly, this year, it was, I knew something special was going to happen. As most excited I've been to see somebody come back home and get to play for the home team. And then not only that, to just go out there and, what is he, 16 sacks in the regular season? I don't know if he led the NFL or if he was tied. I think he may have been tied with somebody for the lead.
I think he finished second, honestly.
Did he finish second? Okay, I wasn't sure if he was tied or...
I know it was close.
But just, this linebacker crew here for the Eagles is just, on paper, they're not I mean, well, they are Pro Bowl caliber this year, but nothing screamed special out of these guys. And to see the way that they're playing this year, I mean, the statistics are just phenomenal. I think the only team that allowed less yardage this year were the 49ers. There weren't, I don't remember where they ended up in rushing yards per game. I think they were actually number one there. And you become the number one rushing defense because of your linebackers. Because very rarely is it your defensive tackles that are making that stop. It's usually, that second line of defense there. And I think the crazy thing in all of that is that we drafted Nakobe Dean and he's not even up here. I mean, that's your backup. And he's coming in and off the field. Nakobe Dean's a starter on almost every team in the NFL.
Well, there's a couple question marks after this season because T.J. Edwards and both Kaiser White are both pending free agents. So do you let one of them walk away so Nakobe Dean can take over that starter role, or do you bring back someone like an Edwards and maybe start Dean on the opposite side of him? Like, a lot of question marks.
Yeah, it's a great point. I do think T.J. Edwards will be back. I think it's really hard to replace your, I'm calling him the defensive quarterback, right? I think it's really hard to replace that player on the field. I'd love to see Kaiser White back as well, but I mean, this season, I was shocked he walked. The Brandon Staley let him walk last year. I'd like to think the Eagles would keep him, but it's really hard to keep Nakobe Dean off the field. And so I think if you got to pick one, White's the one that's not coming back.
I mean, this year you got White for a bargain. What was it? A 1 year, $5 million deal.
Oh yeah,
for someone who led almost the NFL in tackles last year with like 160 something tackles. Like, it's crazy to see LA just let him walk and not even try to sign him back.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that, and especially at that price tag. The Chargers defense wasn't that hot this year either, so I don't really know that I understood that one.
I mean, it's almost like there was something else to the story that none of us know about.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was. Yeah, I'm with you. It didn't seem. I mean, especially being there as a starter your whole career too.
Yeah, just didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, to just not. Yeah, I didn't quite understand it. I'm not going to complain. We've got a game to watch on Sunday, so.
And it's really amazing that this kind of a team, position wise, has been assembled for a team that, traditionally speaking, if you go back through the years, very much devalued the linebacker position for many, many years, neglected it almost completely. Really have to go back. The last time the Eagles drafted a frontline linebacker in the first round, I mean, you have to go back, 40 years.
Yeah. Well, probably Seth Joyner was a first round pick. Yeah, it's been a while. I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they usually projectors like where they drafted Dean, second, third round talent. Like, a lot of good linebackers who have come through the system were later round picks.
And I do think you gotta, Dean. We'll have to see a couple years down the road, right? Because as it stands right now, Brock Purdy's probably still the draft, but Nakobe Dean should have been a first round pick, and for us to get him in the third round?
Yeah,
was it?
I think it was the third round, I believe. Yes.
I know he had like an injury concern, but that's who you have backing these guys up.
Yeah.
A top tier linebacker. But I don't want to not give the Chiefs their kudos, right? Nick Bolton is an absolute monster. He's second in the NFL in solo tackles, and I think he was second in the NFL with combined tackles as well. I think something to point out there is like the Chiefs blitz a lot, and he's a very like hard runner, and so the problem is, um, as decent as they can be with the run, they're really bad at stopping the pass because of the fact that they overcommit. And Bolton's not the fastest guy. He's just like a strong runner, and so a lot of those tackles for Bolton weren't actually, like I was saying, the running back following the tight end. It was actually him beating the tight end in the backfield and getting to the running back, or or stopping just a quick pass play in front of him. And I just, you kind of see it with the lack of interceptions from this middle linebacker group. Like, there's definitely instances throughout the year where, you know, they're gambling, they're overcommitting to this blitz, and they're losing track of people in the middle of the field. And I think that's going to be the interesting aspect of watching this linebacker group against the Eagles, because of, like was talked about earlier, because of how much Jalen intentionally comes out of the pocket, which is also something that Patrick Mahomes doesn't do. When you're kind of looking at which linebacker group is better, positionally, there are things that Hurts does intentionally. Play calls that are made for him to run, play calls for him to, have the opportunity to throw if need be, and Mahomes, on the other hand, is really only coming out of the pocket if he needs to scramble, which allows the linebackers to, have a more calculated approach to whether or not they need to cover the middle of the field, or if they're going to green light Reddick every play. And I do think it's going to be very interesting, and maybe, note this down. I think Reddick blitzes on the first, at least 2 to 3 times on the first possession that the Chiefs have. They'll set blitzes up and leave the middle open to see if Mahomes can run or not, right from the jump.
Yeah.
Even if it means giving up a big play, it's going to be hard for Gannon to not do that, because you don't know. Like, Mahomes is going to say he's fine all week, but you've got to send. I mean, you're sending Reddick. You can have White drop back and have Edwards just play QB spy, but I think that's what you're going to see in that first series. There's going to be a lot of pressure coming from the linebackers, and I think it's going to set the tone of the game real fast.
I can see that. That's definitely a good assessment. Now, we've been asking everybody if they have a score prediction. Do you have one?
I don't. Didn't they like leak a script or something? Don't we already know how this game goes? No, I don't know. I do think the Eagles are going to win the game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people are expecting it to be. But I think it's going to be closer than people are expecting it to be, because I think the Eagles might come out with some nerves, given how well they've played all year. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but assuming they can shake the rust off, and maybe it's just like they come in that first possession. You got a lot of young guys on the offense. They're all really excited. They're in the Super Bowl, and they have a dud first series. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, you got a compliment in chat saying that an excellent assessment of the Eagles. Joe wants to hear more about the Kansas City guys.
Yeah, like I was saying, just kind of talking back. I do think from this linebacker group, they Willie Gay and Nick Bolton together, and Carlos Dunlap, they do enough to stop a play. I don't really know, outside of Nick Bolton, that there's all that much excitement going on at this level of the game, or of their defense. And you have Darius Harris, and you've got Leo Chenal. I might as well say also a Wisconsin kid, swapping in and out to kind of give them, a burst of speed. But they have the 28th ranked rushing defense in the league for a reason, and I think it's because of the overcommit to the blitz. The Chiefs, historically, at least the way their defenses are, they've always gotten up to big enough leads that the opponent was throwing the ball, and so it's allowed for that rush defense to kind of take a back seat, and the Eagles obviously run the ball a lot, whether it's intentional or Jalen coming out of the backfield, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to adjust to a run-heavy offense, given the fact that Hurts can throw the ball, which, a lot of rushing quarterbacks don't necessarily have a good arm to go with it or make the smart passes. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Chiefs linebackers, if they just stay true to their spots on the field, play a lot of man or just a lot of cover, don't blitz, or if they take the opportunity and try to get Hurts riled up early on and push him out of the pocket.
Oh, definitely be interesting for sure. Well, I'm going to boot you for a couple minutes, but don't go anywhere because Joe has a funny 5-minute segment for the mascots that I'm really looking forward to hearing. Ron, he's been telling me all day he's ready for that one. So is there anything else that you guys would like to add to the linebacking position? I think he did a wonderful job covering it.
Awesome job. Awesome.
So,
looking forward to your next one.
Me too.
Don't go too far away.
Sounds good, guys.
For now, we'll move you.
And by the way, Ken, Dunlap was drafted by the Bengals in the second round of 2010.
Yep. So, covering our cornerback position is my good friend Lalo. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Hello.
guys.
He is a Saints fan. That's why his name says Bucks Still Suck, because he likes to troll Tyler in our chat most of the time. This is the one that goes back and forth with Tyler saying how much Tampa Bay sucks and all that stuff. So, Lalo, I will allow you to keep the name for tonight.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me here.
Of course.
First of all, I want to apologize. My football knowledge for this season is like little to no existent at all due to work. I've been here, but especially these two teams, as you're a Saints fan, so don't really pay attention to either, but I try my best. So you see, we got Darius Slay and James Bradbury, Eagles.
Yep.
And then Trent McDuffie and Jarius Sneed. Good. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so see, John, I'm nervous now.
It's all right. Just have fun, man.
All right. They're going against some hardcore receivers, both side. As you, who did the receivers earlier?
You have, for Philly, you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
And then on Kansas City side, you have Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquise Valdes-Scantling as their two main wide receivers.
And you really got to count Kelsey as a receiver too. Right?
Yes.
Just because of the volume that he gets.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. But correct me if I'm on this, but I'm pretty sure none of these guys been in a Super Bowl game at.
No, I don't. I think you're right on that comment. I mean, I know McDuffie's a rookie.
Yeah.
L'Jarius Sneed's only 2-3. L'Jarius Sneed might have been on the team they won it with a couple years back.
I'm pretty sure he was drafted after their win.
Okay.
I checked that. That was like something I had.
But Darius Slay's never been there, and James Bradbury's never been there. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Eagles, they got veteran years on them. Chiefs, 3 years and a rookie. So I want to say Eagles got this whole. They got it already. That's not just because I'm on the show, John. Relax. But I want to say experience.
Yeah, I mean that definitely has a big play in it.
Yeah,
Chiefs,
absolutely.
younger guys, probably more energy. But the Leger Sneed is coming back from a hard hit from that Cincy game.
Yeah,
So
I know what you're talking about.
might be there, might not be there,
Mm.
And McDuffie, rookie, first big game of his career, other than the loss to Washington State in his college year. I'm sorry because like I said earlier, my knowledge in these two teams is non-existent right now.
No, it's all good.
Well, the one thing about the Kansas City corners is that if you notice, their tackle totals are like off the charts, and that's mainly because when we talked about the linebackers, we talked about they weren't exactly stout against the run. So a lot of teams are having guys that are making it to that second level. So these guys are being counted on to make a lot of tackles, which they've been doing. I mean, they really were pretty respectable with bringing guys down in the open field once they got to the second level. But you're right. The inexperience. I'm sorry. Yeah, the inexperience of the rookie. Even though he's had a really good year, is probably something that could come into play. If the Eagles decide to open it up and work the ball down the field, traditionally Jalen working the outsides, and McDuffie has been burned a few times in a couple of the games that I saw on double moves. So he's very susceptible to that double move outside and then up the field. So I could see Smith or AJ burning him for a big play, just because he has a tendency to be over aggressive and he tends to bite on that second move. So,
I mean, experience is definitely going to play a big role in this, I think. And you both have said it. Like Slay and Bradbury, even though this is only the first time they made it to the big dance, they've been in these big games before. Where someone like McDuffie and Snead, they're still young, they have growing to do. This might be one of those games where you get growing pains in a sense. But and then the oddball out of this one, I didn't mention him, is Avonte Maddox. He's on nickelback for Philly.
Yeah.
If he's not 100%, so if you're looking at a matchup for Kelsey, do you put your nickelback on him, or do you have to maybe put a safety on him? Like Travis Kelsey, in my opinion, is going to be a game changer, no matter what, good or bad. And usually that falls on your nickelback, and that's going to be Avonte Maddox in our spot.
Yeah, more than likely, he very well could play, could take on Kelsey in a couple of instances. But I think that the way that KC normally game plans is that they're probably going to try and have him live in front of the corners and behind the linebackers in that soft zone. So more than likely somebody's going to have to catch him off the line. If they go to a lot of man, if they let Bradbury and Slay play a little more man like they have in the last few weeks, I think that'll have a big factor on trying to control Kelsey and what he can do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest thing that sticks out to me on this slide is between Slay and Bradbury, you have 30 pass defense. That's unheard of for two cornerbacks to have 30 pass breakups in a single season. You more technically would see like the 18 pass defense like you do see on McDuffie and Snead. So the fact that Slay and Bradbury can play one-on-one on islands is going to be a very key component of this game as well, that what team can play more man coverage other than the other one.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now,
Agreed.
Now, Lou, I've been asking everybody, do you have a score prediction for this game?
Eagles taking it 28-21.
So that's 49. That's under the 50. So
Right under the 50. Yep.
You might get a lot of people mad with that score if that happens, because a lot of people bet the over and then you lose it by a point. Ooh.
You'll get half of the people unhappy and half the people happy.
I've seen the future. That's the score I call.
Now,
it ain't as was said in the classic film Waterboy. That ain't no guess. That's what it's gonna be.
Okay, Vicky. I'm gonna change your name to Vicky Bouncourt after that comment on. But no, I mean, this is a big matchup because you got two unexperienced wide receivers for Kansas City, but then on the other side, the Eagles are still young. So, which one of who steps up the most? So that's what you're gonna see in these four players. What position group on which team is going to step up? I would honestly give the slight edge based off their experience again to the Eagles, even though neither of these two have played in the Super Bowl. Maddox did back in the day with us. But out of these four, the slight edge just based off playing use would have to go to Philly. That's how I would look at it.
That's fair.
But I'm not counting out Snead, because obviously you can see Snead had 3 interceptions on his own. He had a fumble recovery, 4 forced fumbles between the two of them. They put up stats. But like Ron said, you don't see these tackle numbers as high if the teams aren't getting that second and third level. So,
yeah, I mean, if you look at the receiver for the Eagles, they all got their high yardage. So just whoever, I'm not picking on the rookie, but whoever's Duffy covering, they will be targeting Duffy at probably half the time or maybe more.
I agree.
I could see it. I mean, Duffy hasn't been the healthiest all season, so you don't know what percentage of health-wise he is, because like you said, he took the big hit versus Cincinnati, plus he missed the beginning of the season also coming back from an injury, so he's probably not anywhere close to 100%.
Plus, mark my words, he bites on the double moves. When you watch the game, keep an eye on him. That's definitely something they're going to try.
So, I know Tyler loves it. People love your name, by the way. Curtis was giving you a boast of confidence, saying you're doing a great job. Just have fun with it. Mike Russo's in the chat still saying 102.
100-2.
Curtis is saying 21-14. That's a low-scoring game. So,
yeah.
But then, Ken said it best earlier too. Still a good rookie can shut down. So you can't count on McDuffie. Some players beyond, you rattle him early, you might break him. You never know.
Yeah. Well, you got to challenge him early and see what happens.
I 100% agree. I mean, especially if it's AJ Brown or the speed and Devontae Smith. I don't know what side these guys line up on, but that's going to tell a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Lalo for the win. There you go. That's from Mike for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Lou, appreciate you jumping on. If we do a recap show and you watch the game, would you be interested in coming back?
No, of course. Just let me know ahead of time.
All right. I mean, I appreciate your time. Okay. Ron, do you have anything that you would like to add to this?
No, just thanks for popping in. We appreciate your participation. I think that it's just great to see everybody coming in and sharing their insight with us. It's easy for us to just sit here and talk about it, but it's valuable to us to make sure that you guys are all part of the show. We love you in the chat, and it's great that you've been on camera, and we just want to thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I second that. I mean, it's awesome that you guys had all given me some time to help with the show tonight. I mean, it's been a crazy show. It's not over yet. We still have a couple more slides to cover, plus me and Ron's breakdown of the game before we sign off. But I just can't thank you guys all enough for helping out. It's been awesome.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me, John.
Now you can go back and chat and troll Tyler because he's coming back on. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring Tyler in. You can say something to Tyler right now if you want.
There you go.
But if not, I'm gonna boot Loom. We're gonna kick over to safeties. Tyler is filling in for Mr. Jacob Cole, who unfortunately couldn't make it. Then he's gonna do kickers and punters as well. So we're stuck with Tyler for a little bit, Ron.
$40, Tyler, for that.
Okay.
So Lou, thank you again. I'm gonna boot you. Okay.
Thanks, Lou.
All right.
Welcome back, Tyler.
What up, guys? I am
Welcome.
covering for Jay Cole tonight. So I'm going to get right into it with the safeties. He did mention a couple things, which I can't pull up on my phone right now for some reason, because I got to stay on camera. But I'll make it quick. He literally just said that. Go ahead.
He said he had warned me that he was gonna dog Marcus Epps. So I'm curious to see what he has to say about that.
All right, so this is what J. Cole is based off on. Right, here we go. The Chiefs safeties are not huge interception threat or pass rush threats. They often rely on great tackling and or breakups. Justin Reed and Thornhill are great within the Chiefs 4-3 scheme, but they will be tested against a stacked offense in the Eagles full of multiple deep threat targets.
Yep.
On the flip side, though, go ahead.
No, I mean that's a fair assessment. I'm just listening. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, Gardner Johnson, former Gator, chomp. He was tied for the most interceptions in the regular season, is behind an elite cornerback group. And then Marcus Epps, on the other hand, had no interceptions, but 64 solo tackles. So where he hasn't excelled in picks, he's a very talented tackler and makes key stops. Now, he also did say... Hold on. Sorry. He also
And I'll take this
Jason,
opportunity. Go ahead.
He also did say, John, that Epps was being mid. That he's mid.
I mean, he's not a top premier one. I will agree with that. Mid's a fair assessment. So yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking yet.
Maybe you're saying that as like to dog you and all that.
Now, Ron, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm just the chomp thing. I mean, I just want to say,
Ron's-
I'm a Cane, so I went to Miami.
Ron, I don't know if you do this or not, but there is 7 Florida Gators playing on both sides of the football for both teams. There's 4. What was it? 4 for the Chiefs, I think, and 3 for the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's a bunch of players playing it, but no. I mean, I gotta go here. I gotta give the edge to the Eagles. Defensive backs, with Gardner Johnson. I mean, sure, he missed 5 games, but in the regular season, that was a great trade to get him for you guys. I mean, he's been a great player, even with the Saints. I hate to say that, but I gotta
flip that. Just kidding.
But no, Gardner Johnson, he's a great. I mean, you see the stats all for yourselves. Gardner Johnson had 6 picks, 14 pass defenses, and 1 fumble. I mean, those DB groups, you're still getting 160 total tackles. Is that between both of them, or is that just? I think that's between both of them.
That's between both of them, yes.
All right, and that's even missing with Gardner Johnson missing 5 games. It's that Marcus Epps stepped up. He hasn't had those picks, but he definitely has those tackles though. That helps out the defense.
True.
That's true.
I mean, and you think about it, Johnson had 6 interceptions and missed 5 games. So if he doesn't miss those 5 games, who knows? He might have double-digit interceptions at that point.
Very well could have.
He could have. And then on the other end, don't get me wrong, Justin Reed and Juan Thornhill, they're both good play. I mean, I'm excited for this matchup, man. I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to happen between these two DBs. All that matters is who makes the play. They have just about the same number besides solo tackles.
A little bit higher for Philly, but
It's close though. It's close.
Jason said it best in the chat. He said safeties are a key to an Eagles victory. What I'm worried about in this matchup is Marcus Epps taking that dumb penalty. He hasn't done it in a couple weeks. But at the beginning of the season, he was always trying to go for the budget headshot and getting those unnecessary roughness calls or something. You can't have that this game. Yeah. You give Mahomes a short field, he's going to kill you.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I'm not sure if he's been burnt before too either, but I did hear you guys saying that you guys got to watch the double moves. Especially got to watch the flags, like you just mentioned, John. Because if you give Mahomes a short field, the defense is not happy, or defense stays tired, if that makes sense. You just don't want to give him a short field, because then he'll cook you.
Yeah. And now, before we slide over to the next slide, my one question for you, since you're a football enthusiast, Ron, you can answer this as well. Both Marcus Epps and C.J. Gardner-Johnson are both free agents after the season. Do you try to re-sign both of them, or just one, or do you let them both walk away?
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyler. What do you think?
How old are both of them?
I think they're both in their early 20s. I think Gardner Johnson's 25, 26, and I think Epps is around the same, if I'm not mistaken.
With the rest of the team, the Eagles gonna have to do try to re-sign everyone. I would try to sign Gardner Johnson again.
I mean, I think that would be the consensus, and then
don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to have both of them. But I mean, the cap space did go up. 12.5 million?
Yeah, the cap's going up 18.8.
Oh, wow. I'm way off. I apologize.
It's okay.
But you try to go out for both of them. If not, I would give it to Gardner Johnson, just the way he's been balling out. Sure, he missed games, but the way he came back from his injury, balled out. I mean, 6 picks.
Yeah.
From one player, 5. It's like who's the other guy that was out for 5 games? Goddard.
Yeah.
You see Goddard, he came back from 5 injuries. He still put up a good stat line. So that's just. True. I try to re-sign both, but I'm really leaning towards Gardner Johnson.
What do you think? What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if I had to choose between the two of them, that I would definitely make the investment in Gardner Johnson. And Epps, although he's been, serviceable, he's done a decent job, but obviously there's some hard decisions that need to be made, especially coming off of a Super Bowl, because you know that there's going to be certain guys that are going to, get offers from other teams. And, the market price for some guys is going to go up. So, sometimes you got to make that tough call. And in this case, I don't think there's much of a question that I think Gardner Johnson is the guy that you should be looking to keep. And, Mr. Epps, thanks for your contribution, and have a nice day.
Yeah. Well, Jacob Cole's in the chat saying, "Man, this man's lucky I'm still on my way home. I could have dived deep in. CJ has been a top-tier safety all year. If he played all 17 games, I think it's fair to say he'd lead the league in interceptions, as well as Epps penalties. He's still on the young side. I'm sure he's only gotten 4 years in the league. It's going back to the same thing with the Chiefs. Young players, how much do the Chiefs target and pick on him within the game?" So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're probably definitely going to work to his side, at least to start. I mean, other than what they're going to run to Kelsey across the middle, because Mahomes loves to throw in the middle of the field. But, I mean, if he does start working the outside, he's definitely going to be looking Epps' way, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then Mike Russo in the chat. Mike, I think you're off on your cornerbacks a little bit. He's saying we have Eric Allen and Troy Vincent.
Yeah.
But the correct Mike, Eric Allen Wood 21, not 22. Sorry, Mike. Eric Allen Wood 21, but he does have the Troy Vincent right with the 23. So, one number off, buddy. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Tyler's going to stay on and dissect the special teams with us real quick. We're not going to spend much time on this, but first up, got kickers.
Yeah, kickers. They like to kick balls into the goalpost.
That's why they have one job, so.
That's what they're gonna do. I mean, Jake Elliott, he's a good kicker. He's been a great kicker for. You guys had him for what, a couple years now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got him back in 27. The year we won the Super Bowl the first time, 2017.
17, right?
I mean, he's been a reliable kicker. Sure, he's only missed 3 field goals this year. That's still an incredible stat line, going from 20 for 23. Even missed 1 game. I mean, if he didn't miss that game with an injury, he could have probably kicked a couple more. But that just tells you how good of the Eagles' offense is with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. There isn't that many field goals where like some of these other teams are kicking like 30 or 40 field goals a year, maybe even more. Extra points. I don't know what's up with kickers missing extra points.
I couldn't tell you neither, so.
He only missed 2, which is phenomenal, which is a 96%. But still, kickers need to be better on extra points because for some reason, just not working.
I mean,
now,
it is a little bit farther back, but that's been that way for a couple years now, so you really can't say that much. But instead of having that chip easy 10-yard extra point, now it's actually like a 33-yard field goal.
Exactly. Now here's the Buckner. He missed 4 games with a groin injury, I believe it was.
I thought he had an ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it ankle? I think it was ankle. I had him on my fantasy team. I had to go pick up another kicker.
Young
Shuku. He got hurt. I forgot who I picked up this past year. But, I mean, even despite missing 4 games, he's 18 of 24. He hasn't been that solid like the last couple years. I mean, his longest 62, which is just, I don't know how you can kick that long. Obviously, you needed the wind in the right direction and you needed that right boot.
Unless you're Justin Tucker, who can make a kick from anywhere, but
yeah,
neither of us have him, unfortunately.
Still, going back to the extra points, I mean, these 2 kickers, they missed 2-3 extra points between each other. Yeah, if they don't both pull a Brett Maher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because anything can happen.
I mean, who would if the game came down to the last second field goal? Who do you trust, Jake Elliott or Harrison Bunker?
That's a tough choice right there.
Yeah. Well, you had to pick one though. I mean, who would you say, Ron?
I'd say Jake. I mean, his history, in the clutch has been pretty good. I mean, Bucker too. I mean, Bucker's not a bad kicker at all. I mean, he just, I think that, they could be pretty evenly matched. I just think that Jake has, just seems to be a little more reliable even though the stats may say they're pretty close. In my eyes, when Jake comes on the field, I automatically assume that he's going to make it because he hardly ever misses.
Yeah, well, we have both. Bucker is a strong leg with accuracy, and then game on the line, Bucker, but you really can't go wrong. So it's a toss-up. I mean, it's definitely a coin flip.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of like how I did this slide too. I just realized that it kind of looks like it's the same kicker, just different jerseys.
Yeah.
Like the motion and everything's the same. So.
And you left the space in the middle so they could kick it through the goalpost.
I did. So
No,
moving
I mean,
over. Go ahead, Tyler.
I still don't know who to pick. I mean, you can't like you guys just said. You can't go wrong with any of these kickers. They're both going to kick it through the upright.
Yep.
Yeah, they have one job.
That.
They have one job.
Yeah,
And
you kick the ball.
it's not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, if anybody else has ever tried to actually kick like that, kick a field goal, I've tried. It was not a pleasant experience. My foot still hurts, and that was probably a long time ago. But it's just amazing that they can kick the ball with that kind of accuracy, that distance. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. And no, Jake Hole, he has not. We figured we would let him do at the end of his punter segment, which we're going to start right now. Because, yes, we do have Aaron Stepas coming back for this game. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
But the Brett Kern experiment should be over. I mean, I was expecting more out of him. I thought him being an all-pro punter would be in a lot better shape, but it turns out it was an experiment at that point.
Well, he only averaged about 35 yards a kick.
Yeah.
This week. Yeah.
It was bad.
So, yeah. And that's, that's only one of them hit the wire.
True.
Maybe.
I mean, I honestly, as much as people are going to jump on me, I got to give the advantage to Kansas City. I mean, Tommy Townsend has a boot.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy Townsend has a heck of a leg, bro. Like, if Harrison Buckner wasn't a kicker, he could be the next kicker.
Oh, yeah. And I love the long wavy hair. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm surprised he can't even kick with having hair coming down past his shoulders. Like,
if I'm not surprised, I think he came from. I think he went to school in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
I would have to look. But
yeah, I don't. I mean, in honesty, I'm not. I don't know much about your guys' punter as much.
Former rugby player, if I'm not mistaken, right, Ron?
That is correct. Yes, former rugby player.
We always tend to find these rugby players who are punters. If Ron remembers correctly, we had another one a couple years back, Savano Rocco, or whatever his name was. And
yep. That is correct.
Can I get a bro counter for Tyler? Tyler always with the Gators.
Yeah.
We try not to be too biased around here.
I was going to let that one go. You know, I was going to give him a freebie for that because, you know, now I just think he's like needling me on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would never do that, Ron.
Well, the guy just keep it up whenever Tyler's on. Do to you. Just throw it in his face.
Townsend did play his freshman year at Tennessee before he transferred to Florida, so you are correct.
Tyler with the punter knowledge. Look at you, son. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, man.
Bro, dang it.
Yeah, that's two. Just kidding.
His hair, the long hair, it's like Trevor. It's longer than like Trevor Lawrence's hair.
Yeah, I mean, probably had some wind in the punt. They're saying you would do the Troy Brown. I would Troy Brown that kick. I think we'd probably all fall and bust our ass on that kick.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so I'll go ahead and get my Super Bowl prediction out of the way. Give me. Oh, if only it was Lee Corso had like the helmet or
the head
mascot.
Yeah.
Give me Fly Eagles Fly.
Okay, we got
37-30.
37-30.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
At 67, I think that's the highest one we've had yet.
Yep.
Besides from
Mike's is the highest at 102.
Yeah, 100 to 2. If it winds up being 100 to 2, then something's wrong.
That's a Madden video game right there.
Yep. All right, now I guess I got to be nice and ask Tyler, since you were such a big help tonight, if we do a recap show next Monday, would you like to come back?
Yeah, I'll come back.
Vaughn, should we let him back, or should it one show and done? What do you think?
Nah, we definitely have him back. He's a great guy.
Uh,
I'm just playing around.
I don't know if Lalo's gonna be here. I might not show my face.
I mean, you guys can come on and debate against each other. I'll let you two have the floor.
I'm gonna throw a bonfire and throw a Saints jersey in the fire.
Well, he did ask where his $40 was for that trash beanie you made him buy. We had a bet earlier on in the season, Ron.
Yeah.
Tyler being a Bucks fan, pardon me, Lalo being a Saints fan, whoever lost, the other one had consequences. Well, Tampa Bay beat New Orleans, so we made Lalo buy a Tampa Bay beanie and wear it on the show.
Oh, okay.
So ever since then, these two have been just going back and forth.
There you go.
We always go back and forth. We're division rivals. It's like you and Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I get along with them. I don't sit there and trash them, unless your name's Sam Simmons. Oh. or if my buddy Sheldon's in the chat. Really, John?
Yeah, really, John?
Yep. I've been good tonight, though.
Yeah, yep.
And then J. Cole saying Chiefs, both teams breaking 30. That would be an entertaining game. Fans win more than anything. 100%.
Yep.
The higher the score, the more fans get their money worth. So 28-17 is another very good assessment. I think we had somebody say that earlier, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't make score predictions, so I'm not making one.
What?
I wasn't able to put money on this game, but I don't know if I want to now.
Well, I won it with a 1.5 spread. No way.
You're
now,
predicting a
1.5?
score, man.
We'll talk before we end the show, Ron. But
You've been teasing it all night. You're going to give a score.
I will.
Give us a score update. All right, y'all.
I'm going to boot you now, Tyler, because I want to hear our next one on the slideshow. If you want to stay and listen, my buddy Joe's going to dissect the mascots.
Get it. That's
Yes.
a fun slide.
I have the mascots for a slide on my slideshow. So, Tyler, I'm going to boot you and bring my friend Joe back in. Thanks for your help, though, buddy.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we'll move him. We'll bring Joe back. And, Joe, the floor is yours. I'm sitting back and listening.
Oh my gosh. So I'll just get to the ending here. Swoop wins, right? Like, there's no argument here. What is that thing, right? What is that thing? I've seen, there was like the video of him falling down after the one game, the field goal that they lost on. I think it was the Chiefs or the Bengals, whatever. And I just, again, when you're talking about this, I had to figure out like what the point of this thing was, because I don't know if like originally the Chiefs mascot was actually it was war paint. It was a chief that rode a horse out in the field, which seems really cool, right? And then they stopped it in the late 80s, and then they brought it back and actually replaced the chief with the head cheerleader. So like a cheerleader would ride a horse out onto the field, and the fans loved it. And then this poor looking rabid rat thing would come out on the field, and no one really understood. And so I had to look. It's actually a wolf.
Yep.
And it had to do with a group of fans that would sit on essentially like non-temporary bleachers at their old stadium, and they called them the Wolf Pack, which no idea what that had to do with the Chiefs, but anyways, this is what they got. And I wanted to read this because I thought this was actually really funny. There's this website called Sports Handle that does various surveys of fans throughout the years. And one of the ones they did recently was the most and least lovable mascots in the NFL. And I thought it was very interesting. The Eagles actually, Swoop was second to the Rams mascot, which is Rampage. And dead last by a mile was KC Wolf.
The power.
And not only was KC Wolf the worst mascot, the Kansas City Chiefs fan base actually voted them the worst mascot.
Now that's sad when your own team turns against you.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, they were the fan base who disliked their mascot the most,
Jeez.
which I thought was sad. They also listed the mascot as the second most obnoxious mascot in sports. Number one was Cowboys.
I can see that. A giant guy running around with a Cowboys hat. I can see that.
Yeah.
And then it had most intimidating mascots, in which the Eagles were fifth.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
Swoop,
I don't
Swoop
know.
is the guy, man. I'll tell you.
I don't really know what to think. Yeah, I mean, I don't even need to. It's an eagle, right? We're the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty self-explanatory, right?
And I don't know if you guys knew that we were the what do you call it? The Eagles mascot or logo is the only logo in the NFL that looks to the left.
Correct.
Yes, because the E in the logo.
So the E and the tail. Yeah.
I can't really show it, but
they had to get special permission for that.
Yeah, they were just talking about that. I don't know if ESPN was talking about it or something recently, but
I got a quick Swoop story if I could throw it in real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, I met Swoop a while back. I used to work for Blockbuster Video, and back in the day, and he did some personal appearances for us at some grand openings and stuff. So he actually did me a solid, and one Valentine's Day, he actually came to the bar where I was DJing, and he brought flowers and candy to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and it was a snowstorm, and he still showed up, and he brought the candy and the flowers to her at the bar, and I've neglected to let him know that she was a Cowboys fan. So he tortured me for a while for that one, but I did it with a specific purpose in mind, and but he is a great sport about it, and he had a lot of fun with it. We laughed about it later after he kicked my ass.
Now, Ron, is this true?
It's absolutely true. Yes.
Lalo says low key. Ron was the first Swoop.
Oh no. I don't know. I was almost tarred and feathered once at the vet, so maybe.
No.
I could have been Swoop.
I saw this question from Ken. Maybe Joe has some insight. Question for you guys: if the Redskins was banned, is that why the Chiefs logo is banned to be politically correct?
Correct. Yes.
It's interesting though, right? Because when you're saying the logo, are you talking about like the old mascot though, like the war paint mascot?
The actual,
or did they remove the arrowhead?
The cheat, yeah. They used to. There used to be something else associated with. They always had the arrowhead, to the best of my knowledge. But I was speaking more of the guy on the horse.
Because I thought it was interesting that they brought it. They brought the war paint back as like a special. I don't know if it was like their 50th year or something, and then decided to keep it until I believe last year.
Right, but they put a cheerleader on it instead of an Indian.
Yeah, with the cheerleader instead. So it was more like the horse and.
Yeah, they were okay with the horse. They just didn't care for the symbolism of the Indian.
For sure.
Because a lot of people do, like, say this should be banned, like the chop and all that stuff, but like the Atlanta Braves still do it. Miami, the Florida Gators have their chopping thing. Like, there's no way that you could ever really get rid of traditions.
Really, John? Really? Now you with the Gators now?
But I feel like there are.
I'm feeling attacked. I'm feeling attacked tonight.
Well, you haven't said more than 5 words in a sentence, so. But I just thought this was a funny slide. I mean, there's not much that you can really say. It is supposed to be a wolf, but where the hell you get the name the Prowler from is beyond me.
Yeah. And I think he needs corrective lenses too.
And the sad part is, it's a guy who's been doing this for 20 years in the same outfit every game. If you go on YouTube, you can search Behind the Prowler, and they actually do a docu-series on the guy that does this.
I was gonna say, hasn't it only been one guy?
I think it has been, yes.
Like the guy who started it. Like,
Yeah.
Because of that's kind of cool. I think.
At least he wasn't robbing banks
Yeah.
like that other guy.
But
Non-confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was. I don't know. You know,
with those eyes and that outfit, I mean, you could walk
a
into a
little
bank.
shifty to me.
I mean, he has. If you look at his hands, he's pointing out guns. So you
I
never
was
know.
gonna say if that walked into the bank and said, I would give him the money just feeling sad. Here you
Well,
go.
he'd probably get double the money because it looks like he's staring at two different people.
Go get some laser eye surgery, probably.
How can you rob anything with those eyes? You never know.
LASIX, my man, LASIX.
Poor guy. I don't know. I just, it's one of those things, like, we obviously in Philadelphia have been blessed with amazing mascots, right? We
Unless
have
you want-
arguably the greatest mascot of all time in the Philly Fanatic, but
Yeah, unless you watch the end of Ace Ventura. What the hell is that eagle? Yeah, I'm sure you guys both have seen the movie. Jim Carrey beats the living piss out of it.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of eagle is that? Like, it's just bizarre. This one is 10 times better than that.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand. Like, if you just saw that mascot, take the KC shirt off, take Chiefs Kingdom out of the background, would you ever think that was a football mascot? How about just a sports mascot in general?
Gritty is amazing. Oh, never mind. No flyers. I'm going to bed. Good night, Jason. Yeah. But Gritty, at first, Gritty scared me, but now that he's been around for a while, I kind of warmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
If you put Gritty's eyes on the Prowler, that would be kind of cool.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Don't even get
Okay. now we're cross pollinating these guys.
You call him the Growler and Gritty.
The Gritty Growler.
The fact that we're still talking about mascots kind of alarmed me.
Yeah. Well, hey, you said it could go a couple different ways.
But
Yeah, you get. I mean, you should just boot me here. Just boot me now.
no, the thing I asked you before, if we do a recap show next Monday, would you be interested in coming back?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Alright.
I appreciate it, guys.
Joe, thanks for
appreciate you.
hopping in tonight. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
I will send you out a Prowler costume for Halloween next year.
Yeah, that's a good way to keep the trick-or-treaters.
Hey,
I'd
who
say-
knows? You might get more.
I'd say be on the lookout for it, but you wouldn't know where to look.
Have a good night, Jeff.
We have coyotes out here, so maybe I shouldn't.
Do any of them look like that?
Yeah, I try not to get close enough to look, but I mean, with that, I probably could go right up to them, and we'd get along well.
The other eye is just watching you run away.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. But appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for popping in.
For sure. Take it easy, guys.
All right, guy.
So, Ron, the last two slides are me and you.
Okay.
Now we have the team breakdowns, yards per game, and stuff like that. So this is like the meat and grind, where you break down like who gives up what compared to what they give up. It's like, I mean, this is as close as a toss-up as you can get looking at these numbers.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, just in general, before we even go line by line, I mean, the two teams, for the most part, are pretty evenly matched. I mean, if you went down position versus position, and you matched up every single starter on both sides of the ball, I'd give maybe a slight advantage to the Eagles. But there's just so many wild cards, and it's all, It's all game plan. It's all coaches at this point. How one team chooses to attack the other. I mean, you got two great quarterbacks. You got two great offenses. You know, the Eagles, I think, definitely have an edge in the running game, for sure. Only because Pachenko's been serviceable. Hilaire is back, but he was not on the top of the heap when he left. But the Chiefs traditionally don't need to run the ball.
No.
I mean, they can just let Mahomes sit back there and just pick you apart. So I think we overall our worry should be Mahomes and keeping the offense off the field. With smothering defense, which we've been playing a good part of the year. You know, we don't give up a ton of points.
No.
We don't give up a lot on the ground. You know, for the most part, the secondary's been playing well this year. Having Maddox back is a big factor. But I mean, when it comes down to it, it's good. On paper, it should be a great game.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I hate to say it, but I just see a back and forth game like we had 5 years ago. I mean, it's going to be one of those games that one team might jump out for the beginning, then the other team crawls its way back into the game. This game can go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate those kind of games. They're very entertaining. Like Jay Cole had said earlier, both teams win. The fans win most of all because you have that entertaining, competitive back and forth game. I mean, but I think the Eagles pull it out in the end. I mean, you might see what happened in 2017 happen again. They Kansas City might get that last possession, only being down one possession, and then a big turnover happens. Whoever can get that turnover is going to win this game.
That's true. I mean, whoever wins the turnover battle, whoever protects the ball, stays away from stupid penalties. And as I say every week, and I don't want to break tradition now, because apparently Jonathan Gannon watches the feed. Don't play that bullshit soft zone. You know, make these guys work for it. Don't let Kelsey run wild in the middle of the field and just live there all day, which they have done on a consistent basis for a good part of the year. And that's the majority of his receptions are in the middle of the field.
The one difference I would say this year compared to the 2017 team, you have cornerbacks who could actually now play man coverage. 2017, you really didn't know what you had with a Ronald Darby or Patrick Robinson. Like, you had three solid cornerbacks, but were they shut down quarterbacks? No. Now you have players like Darius Slay and James Bradbury who feast off this. So, like you said, let them play man to man. Don't play the zone. You play the zone, Mahomes is going to pick you apart. Send your front four. Pressure. If you have to only send four every play, do that. Like that's
Right.
what we've been saying all night. This game is going to be one in the trenches. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, if we get that good push up the middle with the front four, you know, I mean, that is going to set the tone. I mean, it's going to put pressure on Mahomes to, you know, to get out of, you know, to get the ball out quickly. He's not going to be able to run around like he would normally do if he was 100%, based on what we saw 2 weeks ago. Now, obviously, he's had some other time to heal, but that's not a 1 week or 2 week injury. High ankle sprain is nothing to sneeze at.
Sure.
You know, so you could tape it up as much as you want, but you're still going to feel discomfort if you're putting full weight on it and trying to pivot on it, which you know, obviously is a big part of his game.
Jason has a real question. Would you move Quez outside in some formations and lining AJ or Smitty against a weak slot corner? I mean, If it's a decoy move, absolutely. If you're looking to get Quez downfield, then no. I think Quez's speed is what you want on that slot cornerback. But if it's a decoy, if it gets AJ or Smith in the space, then sure, you try it 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, then you can always go back.
Just to stretch down the field, stretch the defense a little bit. But, I mean, I'd much rather have AJ or Devontae on the outside against the rookie corner and try and beat him on that double move, which he bites on a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say, I think you're going to see more Zach Pascal than you are going to see Quez, only based off the fact that Zach can block. And I think you're going to see a lot of bubble screens to get AJ and Smitty down the field faster.
I think you're going to see a lot of Dallas Goedert in this game. I got a feeling that you're going to see Goddard get targeted a little more than he's been in the last few weeks, just based on what the Chiefs how the Chiefs line up on defense.
I mean, Goddard's definitely going to be a big factor. Miles Sanders is going to have to be on his A game. Gainwell's going to have to keep running the ball like he's been.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many variables that this game could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to say a score prediction because it's not who I am, but I got to agree with everybody else. It's going to be a one-possession game. I'd go like a 30-27 or something if I had to say one. So I'll take the over 50.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the over too. I'm looking at like 31-27 Eagles.
Yeah, that's another very one-possession game.
Right. Close game, back and forth. Angina, hold your breath kind of game.
Don't say that.
I just get that feeling. Yeah. I just get that feeling that it's going to be that kind of game. I think it's still going to be a game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a game no matter what. And I think Jason's right. Also, Goddard and Kelsey will probably break a lot of records for tight ends.
Yeah, that's possible.
But, I mean, I don't like those nerve-wracking games because I can't sit still. And I have people come to my house on Sunday, and I'm going to be just walking back and forth looking like a freaking lunatic. What did you think? Ken's question, both quarterbacks are MVP, so has there ever been co-MVPs of the league? I think once. Didn't Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers co-MVP the 1 year?
Not sure. I'm checking.
We'll finish. We'll answer Ken's question. Then Ron has a proposal for everybody that he wants to add, and then we'll wrap the show up. So I think it was one time, and I want to say it was Manning and Aaron Rodgers got co-MVP.
It was actually in 1996.
Okay.
And it was Brett Favre and Barry Sanders.
Wow. So quarterback, running back, and division rivals on top of it. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. At least I had one Packer right. I'm just kidding.
97. I'm sorry, I said 96. It was 97.
Wow. I thought it was more recent than that.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Okay. So here's what I want to propose, guys. And I don't know how many guys are still left in here, but I have something that I wanted to throw out there to see if you guys were interested. Okay. Everybody's got a cell phone. What I want video shot on your cell phone sent to the page. How best way to send it? Probably Messenger.
Yeah.
So on Messenger, I want you to send us a video of your Super Bowl party when the Eagles score the first touchdown. Click on record on your phone. Give me a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you can get me. because we want to take those and we want to share them on the recap show next week. So pull out your phone, tape your celebration. I want to hear some Fly Eagles fly. I want to see the pandemonium. I want to see the fun. I want to see your Super Bowl parties, man. If it's 3 people or if it's 30 people, let's see it. Let's bring it on so that we can share it with everybody next week.
I mean, I think that's a terrific, fun way to get people involved. Even if you're not in chat and you go back and rewatch the show, if you catch it all the way through, I mean, that is an awesome idea. I think I have 3 or 4 people coming to my house, and Joe Markey being one of them. So I will see him tomorrow at work. I'll run the idea by him to do it. But I like that idea. I think we could have a lot of fun with it. So, Uncle Ronnie, I have Chiefs scoring first touchdown. Got a bet with a coworker.
Depends on who wins the coin toss.
Now, speaking of coin toss, did you see what they're trying to petition?
No.
They're trying to get Mama Kelsey to flip the coin.
Nice.
What do you think of that?
I thought that's a great idea. I think the NFL would be genius to do that.
And have Travis and Jason come out as captains for their teams.
And have her wear that jersey she has. It's half each team.
Yes. That would be hysterical.
I think that would be great, and I think it would be great for the NFL.
So, our hard part's over. We still got, 5+ days before this game? Like my uncle said earlier, it's the longest wait ever.
Absolutely. I agree.
But
can't come soon enough.
I can't. But before we wrap this up, I just got to give a huge, huge shout out to everyone that jumped in tonight. We had Joe Markey, Sam Simmons right off the bat, Tyler covering 4 positions, my friend TJ, Lalo, my friend Jason with his excellent football knowledge. I'm forgetting people. Help me. Joe Gallagher with the funny mascot thing.
Yep.
Who else do we have? Help me out.
Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah, he came on for a couple.
Lou.
Joe Markey.
Yeah.
TJ. I know I'm forgetting people.
Sam
with quarterbacks. Like the list can go on and on. I know we were supposed to have Jacob Cole on doing the safeties.
Jason.
Yep, Jason. But the one you saw in chat, J. Cole, and then Prince was supposed to be on to do the running backs. Unfortunately, they both had something come up.
And Jason was doing it with COVID.
Oh, wow. Jason, I hope you feel better, buddy. I didn't know that. Yeah, get better, buddy. I mean,
he was a real trooper.
And then I can't read all the names, but we hit 17 reactions on this show. I mean, that's incredible. We were up 15, 16 viewers for a while. I mean, they fizzled out the later we got.
Yep. Well, here's one other thing, guys. And if you're watching this on replay or if you're watching it now, we are now on our Facebook page. We are at 291 followers. Okay. By the end of this week, I want, and this guy wants 300. We want to hit 300 by the end of this week. We had a lot of viewers to the show tonight. We're starting to pick up viewers thanks to our new Wednesday show that John's been doing with the video games and the interviews with the streamers. I want 300, man, before the Super Bowl. So your job is to take somebody you know and get them to follow the show on Facebook.
Yeah.
I want 300 this week.
I mean, we're definitely going
Make it happen, man. Make it happen.
We're definitely going in the right direction. I think we can only go up. So,
yes.
I'll be back live tomorrow night with Miss Morgan. I don't know what she has planned, but her lovely entertainment segment. She always has something fun. Wednesday, I got another streamer coming on who's just starting out streaming, so he hasn't had the biggest following yet, but it's my buddy Matt. So, he'll be on Wednesday, and then I think Andrew should be here on Friday. She was busting my chops about wanting to play the new Harry Potter game that's coming out this week. I know it's on a lot of people's shopping list, but Yeah, I mean, the only question mark we have right now is Thursday night. We will figure that out. I agree, only can go up. I believe you will get 300 plus. Ken, my goal by the end of this year is 517. So if I hit 300 by Super Bowl Sunday, I'm that much closer to my 517 goal. Or 514, I forget what I said. But I just appreciate everybody that came in the chat tonight. Dropped a like, comment, let us know that you're here. Everyone that came on and helped. It's been fun. And now,
Absolutely.
I keep my mind busy during the week with other shows, but we'll be back here, I don't know, for 3 hours, maybe 2. But
Well, I just want to give a shout out to John because John put a lot of work into this show tonight, man. He just is tireless in putting together what he put together for tonight's show. So big shout out to John for a great job, and his head didn't explode. So I mean, it was great.
I'm thinking of one piece.
He was so stressed out, but it came off pretty darn good. I think we had a great time. We appreciate you all, and we appreciate you interacting and being in the show every week in the chat. And we hope to see you again soon. Check us out during the week. Likes and follows. YouTube. You can watch all the back shows. If there's any back show that you want to check out, even back to the beginning of the channel, you can go back and view pretty much anything.
There's 87 videos on there right now.
Yep.
There's a lot.
So have a great night, guys. Thanks for everything, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah. Have a good night.